Warning, it is the opinion of the Forestry Productions LLC and the Working Perspectives podcast that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You have been warned, so if you decide to listen to the recording, then don't complain about the language. Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by the Dubness himself, Jdub Justin Richardson, and our guest today is the one and the only Allen Bach. You can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can have us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe so my wife stops giving me so much shit about doing the show. Jdub, you ready to get this thing started?
I sure am.
Sure are. Glad to hear. Yep, love it. All right, well, let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's our objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our line and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. Working perspectives.
All right, Jalen Dub. Let me tell you about this guy. All right. So I'll tell you what, man. When I lived in California. I was born in California and I lived there until I was 7. Right. And we lived
on the show.
You learned that on the show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I literally thought you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, common assumption. You know what I mean? Like that I was born and raised here. Yeah. But it's all right. So what happened? I mean, I don't tell anybody, so it doesn't matter. So like, I feel like I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
What was that?
You're coast to coast. You've seen both oceans.
Yeah, I have. I've dipped my toe in both oceans, baby.
I have not.
Well, you're not missing much. I mean, they're the
Pacific eludes me.
Yeah. I mean, they're both, it's needles and trash on each beach, wherever you go, LA or Jersey, take your pick. So either way, I'm living in Simi Valley, which is right outside of LA. Rodney King happens, right? Then the riots happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my dad was in Watts the day of the riots.
Oh,
right? Yeah. So here's a fun fact that he was selling computer software for this company called Data Logics that I don't think is around anymore. And he was selling it at Howard University, which is in Watts, right? So what he would have to do is that they wouldn't let any, like, if you just came in like a businessman, they wouldn't let you into their neighborhood, right? So what he would have to do is he drove a Volvo station wagon. He would have the Volvo station wagon and he would have a shovel and a hard hat and he would put it in the trunk, right? And when he would get out, he would like take his suit jacket off and hold it, grab the shovel and the hard hat, and then walk to Watts. And they, like, if you're a construction guy, they let you go because they're like, oh, he's working. Yeah. But he's not selling anything. He's working. Right. So he would have like his thing to go in. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah. That's dangerous. Shit.
Oh, I mean, he would love to kill some people. That was his thing. Yeah. He was not scared. Yeah. He was like, oh, please do. Having killed someone.
They say, I wish you would.
Yeah. He's like, I haven't killed someone in a couple of years. Would love to do it. So either way, yeah. So he gets stuck in Watts the day of the riots. He makes it out of there. Goes back to Simi Valley. So what had happened is that the trial for the cops that killed Rodney King the trial was held in the Simi Valley. So everyone in LA that was rioting was saying that they're going to go to Simi Valley. There's a one-way street in the Simi Valley, and that's where the National Guard went to block them. And they're like, you're not getting into this fucking town. Good luck. Right. So either way, we see all that. And my dad's like, look, we're moving back to the East Coast where the crazy is normal. All right. Enough of this riot crazy. Right.
Is he from, or his parents from around here, or what's the why Pennsylvania?
My dad was born and raised in Scranton, PA, fan of the show, listener of the show. And my mom, born and raised in Kensington, Philadelphia.
Enzo.
Yep. She's K&A all the way. Went to the Kensington Girls School, I believe it was called. She was like the youngest of 6. And at that time, like my mom's dad she'd never met him. Like found out she never met him because grandma lied about who her dad was. Hey, I'm Italian. So either way, she was the youngest of 6. My uncle was like a very famous, let's just say businessman in Kensington. And so she can kind of do whatever she wanted. So she was like skipping school and all this stuff. End up having to go to the Kensington Girls Academy, which is like an all-girls school for like, truant, delinquent young kids. And she would end up graduating from there. Fun fact, she told me a story that in the cot next to her, there was a girl sleeping there, pregnant, was stabbed 7 times in her sleep right next to her. And I was like, oh, fancy that. Kensington. Huh? What a place. Yeah. Oh boy. So either way, that my parents, after, going through the watch riots, were like, hey, we're going to move back to coal mining and stabbing pregnant people in Kensington. And they moved to the land of the free, the home of the brave, Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Right. So I was 7 years old when I moved here. Didn't know anyone. Right. And I'll tell you this, when I lived in California, I always felt like kind of a fish out of water. You know what I mean? I was like, everyone over there is like, kind of foofy and, no one's like hard nosed and like there's never snow. And I was like, what's going on here, guy? I don't know. We lived on a busy street.
Seems a little yee.
Yeah.
Foghorn Leghorn would say, a boy who don't play baseball seems a little yee to me.
Yeah. Very, very much so at time. Also, it's like we didn't have I couldn't like get on my bike and go for an adventure where we were at. You know what I mean? So either way, we get to Lansdale, land of the free, home of the brave. And as soon as we get there, we're given like free reign. This is your bike, aka your steed. Go out, have some adventures. So right away, I'm like, trying to go out, try and make friends, find friends. One of the first friends I would make is our guest today, old Allen Bach. Right. So we're just neighborhood kids. We meet up, we hang out, right? Automatically hit it off, right? We lived on the same street, me, him, and another buddy, friend of the show, former guest of the show, Jay Bowers. We all meet up, hang out, do our thing, right? And then we just become like a crew. And then we get imbibed into what is known as the Confederation of Forestry Park Natives, right? Which is the gang in our neighborhood. And we're all just like one big crew, right? But me and Al have always been like really tight. So I want to tell a story just to, just kind of accentuate how great of a friend this guy is. Right. So when we were growing up in Alan's house, you could curse. Right. And let me fucking tell you, it was pretty fucking great. So like my parents, when I was a kid, dude, we went to church every Sunday. We had the priest over my house for dinner. Right. My dad was like, we were listening, like when we would go for car rides, my dad would have like these Bible stories for children that he would play on cassette tapes in the car. Right. Like we were Jesus the hell out when I was a kid. Big time Jesus freaks at the house. Went to big Catholic school. Oh, yeah. Fan of the show. Listener to the show. Okay. Yeah. Hey, still a big fan of him. I mean, nothing wrong with old JC. Yeah. Shout out JC, our Lord and Savior. So, yeah, shout out him. Shout out crosses. Shout out saving, sacrificing for all our sins. You know what I mean? Shout out. So either way, so at that house, like pretty strict. Then I start hanging over Alan's house, right? And find out right away that we're allowed to curse. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to take full advantage of this, right? And like, I'm coming in as soon as I found out we could curse, I'm like 8 years old, 9 years old, coming into the house, being like, "Hey, Mr. Bach, how the fuck are you?" You know what I mean? Like, Al, what the fuck? What the shit? You know, like just cursing nonstop, right?
Dude, this fucking weather.
Like, yeah, you got a load of this fucking guy over here. Yeah. They're like, "Hey, man, that was school. It was a fucking nightmare school. You fucking, you know, a whole thing." Yeah, that shit's killing me. This teacher's a fucking, you know, whatever.
Yeah, my similar thing. Like my mom would curse, and like I wasn't like allowed to curse, but like it wasn't, you know, crazy if you did. Versus my father, who was born again, very religious, and like there was no goddams, there was no like there was definitely no Jesus Christ. Like those little ones you don't think about.
Yeah.
And you fall like, God damn it. And he's like, don't say that.
Wow.
Fucking countdown.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. Was your dad? My dad too was like really strict on like the things we were allowed to watch. Like weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons. God. He threw out a copy of Wayne's World 2 on VHS.
I mean, we could get into this another night because I got a whole bunch of those.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I could go on. One time he found a CD in my backpack and had the lyrics on the inside, and he read them to me. I'll tell you all about that.
Dude, I remember like oh God, my dad was like, he had stopped like being religious at some point, but he was still like, he doesn't like us cursing and all that stuff. And like, he was also an adult when we were kids. So he's like, this rap music's fucking trash. You know what I mean? Like he just hated it. But I remember, I think it was, what was the second Eminem out? It was the Eminem show, right?
Yep.
The one with like Real Slim Shady on it and stuff. And I remember Tom had bought it, right? And we were driving somewhere that was like far away. And my dad's like, "We're listening to this in the car. I'm going to listen to what this bullshit is that you guys are talking about." Listen to it, right? And we got to the part, remember when he does like he makes fun of the Insane Clown Posse when they're like, he pretends to be the one guy blowing the other guy on the CD. Yeah. It was like an interlude in between songs.
Yeah, and it's literally a sucking noise.
Yeah. So imagine it was me, my brother Tom, Dave Witt, and my dad in our Ford Expedition on the way to wrestling practice. And he's listening to this. And after that, he's like, "This shit's fucking trash." You know what I mean? He's like, "We're done with this." And he took it and he's like,
throw it away?
He threw it out the window. He's like, "I'm not listening to this garbage. You had your shot. No thanks." So either way, right? So we could curse at Alan's house. So I would go over there. And dude, this went on for years. Like it started at the age of 7. Right. And then even like we're getting to the age of like, we'll say like we're age like 13, 14. Right. And so one day, well, let's say we're 12. Right. So one day I go over there and we're playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater on Sega Dreamcast. Just to give you a time frame. Right. Yeah. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the first one.
It was on PlayStation 1.
Yeah, and it was on Sega Dreamcast, is what Alan
had. Dreamcast. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said Genesis.
Do you remember Sega Dreamcast? So Tony Hawk
like 6 games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Sega had some things that they tried that just didn't work out. Like they had Genesis, which had like Mortal Kombat 2, Sonic.
All this. Good. It competed, and then Dreamcast is like,
dude. Do you remember Sega CD?
My one brother had it, and I think all I ever played was Echo, and I remember being like loved it. Like it was like a whole other world.
Oh yeah. I was like, look at the graphics.
Yeah, I was like, what are you fucking dolphin?
I feel like I'm in it. No, yeah, it was, dude, it was the worst. No,
it was like connected to your, is that the thing, ready to connect it on top of your regular Genesis?
Oh, I don't know. I know that that was game. I know that Game Genie. Do you remember Game Genie? It, like,
that was for like
everything.
Cheating, but like Sega had this thing where like you put it in the Sega and then it made it like 64. It made it like up the bits and then you connect games into that.
Maybe I don't know. I feel like I remember it being a little bigger, but either way, the Sega Dreamcast or the Sega CD that we had at my house didn't work. We had 2 games, neither of them worked. So it just kind of sat there. We eventually threw it away. And then we ended up getting 64 like a couple of years later, which shout out, fan of the show, listen to the show, Nintendo 64. So either way, So we're at Allen's house, right? We're playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater on Sega Genesis. And a couple days before, his dad had warned me. He's like, hey, no more cursing in here. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know,
what shit's going on here?
He's like, that's the last one. There's no more cursing in here. And Alan was like, yeah, please don't, because it's getting, it's coming back on me. Yeah.
Somebody took it too far.
So yeah, it was probably me. But either way, so we're playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, and we're going through, and I'm doing the thing, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty I haven't played in years, but I'd figured out, like, you know how like you can get like a formula to the game and like get your shit down. Yeah, I kind of had Tony Hawk figured out. I kind of knew what I was doing. Yeah.
Different moves, you get the multiplier up,
right?
And get it going.
Especially when manuals came into the game, and you can manual in between moves, and you're doing like Benihanas and spinning, and it was the whole thing. I had it down. Not a big deal. You know, pretty good. Sorry. Yeah, awesome. Love Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Fan of the show. Listen to the show. So either way, playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, right? Something happens where the game I fuck up, right? And like whatever, and I just yell, motherfucker, right? And I throw the controller, right? And then all of a sudden, all we hear is Alan, right? And then you hear like, and his dad like comes flying up the stairs, right? Kicks the door in, right? And just like rips his belt off and starts going to town on Alan, right? And I'm like, fuck me, right? And like, I'm just like, I think we've all, if you've like, I don't know, if you grew up in a neighborhood like blue collar, you've had to leave a house while your friend's getting beat. I think we've all been there, right? Like, I know it's happened to my friends, and like, you know, I've been in houses where it's like, all right, I guess, time's up, time to go. You know what I mean? And you just leave. Right? Yeah. So we're like, so I see this happen, and like, I remember as his dad's running up, I remember we looked at each other like, oh shit, you know, and I'm like, no, oh fuck, like, shit, do I say it? What do I do? Right? Yeah. And so he comes in, dad goes to town with the belt, and I take off, and I'm like, God damn it. Right. So the next day I go back over, right, and I see Al, and I'll tell you this, he didn't say a word. And he took the beating for me, even though it was my fault, right? He took the heat. So I'll tell you, you can ask for friends, but not a lot of them would take the heat and not even say anything about it. That's a true friend, and I'm fucking love the guy. So happy he could come on the show. I'll tell you this, we had him on the show a year ago, right? And we were still recording on a different system at the time, and the whole thing, it was our first ever recording, and the file got corrupted and we lost the whole thing. So he was supposed to be the first ever guest on the show, and we lost it, right? Big mistake. That's why you record early before you like you send it out. But either way, super happy he could be on the show. Fucking happy we could get him here. Hopefully everything works out with this recording. Fingers crossed. But Al, happy to have you here, man. Thanks for coming on. Before we get started, I would just like to ask, how do you like your Cheetos? Crunchy or puffed?
Crunchy.
They
gotta be crunchy. I mean, come on,
dude. Jdub, what are you thinking, man? Are you still riding the crunchy train? Do we need to change the question?
I like, I mean, everybody says crunchy. I mean, maybe one day we'll find a puff.
Who will not say crunchy?
Yeah, I like puff.
You know what I mean?
Give me a cheese ball.
Cheese ball's good. I like a cheese ball, but
cheese ball is puffed.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't even put that in the same category. Yeah, Cheetos, crunchy. Come on.
Yeah, man, has to be done. Cheese balls has to be done. You know what I mean? I'm with you, especially too now that like I love what they're doing with the flavor combo. It's like they're like colorways for sneakers with these flavor combos that they're doing.
They do all kinds of wild shit.
Love it. It's like they went to prison and they're like, look, we're gonna do all these guys a favor. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, what do you guys want? You want a jalapeno? You want a flaming hot? Let's go. You want a steak? Yeah. You want potato? It's like they talk to the sunflower seeds guys and they're like, how do you guys stay in business with these fucking things? These things are a joke. But either way, Bach, how you doing, brother? Thanks for coming on.
Doing good. Yeah, doing great, man. Good to see you, Jdub. Long time.
Bach, did you sleep over? Did I meet you at the sleepover that Dave had when he was in like 7th grade or something? Is that night?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was one of those nights.
Didn't you meet at Deary's too? Would it have been a sleepover at Deary's? I know that's where me and you
Possibly.
met, Jdub. Me and
It
you
could
met
have
at a
possibly
sleepover
been
at Deary's.
If you recall, do you recall that sleepover where my stepfather awoke in the middle of the night and walked down and is sleepwalking and pissed on the coffee table?
I do not remember that.
No, you
I
weren't
do not
there.
remember that.
It was.
It sounds like a great night.
Yeah,
He
what?
walked out in his whitey tighties, and we had a second like little walk-in living room kind of to the side.
Yeah,
And it was Dave's friends, like 4 kids downstairs sleeping in the living room.
yeah.
And he walks downstairs in his whiteys, pisses on the coffee table. It was glass. We just hear it. And then he pulls, his tighties up, walks back upstairs and walks away.
And he has a massive hog from what everyone's like. The Billocks are just holding. Is that right? Just fucking.
It's a good bloodline.
Yeah.
Good genetics.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to upset you, but
it's a difficult thing to overcome when you're young. You got to find confidence in a world where you're like, is my penis going to get that big? What's going on?
Oh my gosh. How about it, man? Terrifying. You're like, are we all going to have elephant trunks? What's going on here? So nice. So what's up, you guys? How you doing, man?
Not much. Doing all right.
Yeah. Nice.
Living the life.
Living the life. You got a young kid at home.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you, we had kids around the same time, close in age, couple months. Yeah. And I remember I feel like I think we're kind of raised, like predisposed to be like, oh, my son. Oh, I'm going to have a son. I'm going to, whatever with a son. Right. I'm not going to lie. I have a daughter. You have a daughter. I'm so fucking happy I have a daughter. I feel like I even could love my daughter more than I'd ever love my son. You know what I mean?
I don't have any kids, but I would want, if I had a choice, I would want a daughter way over a boy. I feel like I would be a terror to a male versus I would be like a teddy bear to a girl.
I just know, like, if I had a son, eventually I'd have to beat his ass one day. You know what I mean? Like, I just know that day would come, right?
It's gonna come from the ground.
And you have to be tougher with them. I feel like with a girl, like I could just love the hell out of her and not, it's the best thing ever. What do you think, Bach?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it a little easier, I think.
Yeah, it is the best too. Plus too, I'm gonna be able to kiss her on the cheek forever. I can kiss my son a couple times, but that's it. You know what I mean? It's like you're done. You get 5 your whole life. Yeah, you don't want to be like Topa.
Yeah, like David,
dude. I brought it up on the story is on the Jdub Saga Part 3, which is available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube. But I told this story about this guy who's going to be a guest on the show, friend of the show. His name's Dave Toper. Super cool dude. Loved him to death. But his dad, whenever he left, would be like, David, before you go, know this. And then he'd kiss him. And we're like 20. And I'm like, bro, what is going on here? Who's kissing their dad at 20? I don't know. But yeah, either way. So nice. So, all right, well, let's get into it. So we got a lot of stuff to cover here. I want to chop some wood. So Big Guzzler, you were born and raised, land of the free, home of the brave, Lansdale, Pennsylvania, right? Grew up on good old 6th Street, right? I'll tell you this is something, and I don't know if it's lost on the youth of today, but when we were coming up, and Justin, I think you would agree, gangs were everything, right? Like you needed to be in a gang, right? Like all you wanted to do was be in a gang, right?
Yeah, these weren't like real gangs, but we had a gang. Yeah.
Oh, dude, we would have gangs and you have a gang, right? You get a gang name, then you get a gang hideout for
like real young. I think we tried to come up with a gang. I think it involved aces somehow.
Oh, dude, the Ace was like a hot name for the gang. We did. So our first gang, I think it was me, Al, and Jay Bowers, and we were the bad boys on the block, right? And there was this.
Watch out.
Less than 10, like five or less people were these elementary school gangs.
Oh yeah. They were real. It was only a couple guys, but we could take on the world, Yeah. But and we were plotting on other gangs that were just other kids playing with, GI Joes or whatever. But either way, there was like a space in between Jay's garage and his neighbor's fence. And that's where our hideout was. And we had set up like a hideout. Right. And then eventually we absorbed a couple other people into the gang and we had to rebrand. Right. So we had brought Kalen and Jake Hartman in, fans of the show, listener to the show. And we also had this guy, Phil Kraus, who was like, Al, he would be like your older brother, kind of, Al, like an older brother figure for you, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he was like 6 years older than us, I think, something like that.
Yeah, when we were 9, he was like, I think like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
But he would like hang, like he moved in across the street from you, and he would like hang out with us. He was from California, right? So like he was cool with us. But also he was like, you do have an older brother, but he was like, he's way older than you. And he was kind of like, he was like, you know, he was like off in college and having a family and stuff. So we wouldn't see him that much. But Phil was like right across the street and he treated you like a legit little brother, you know?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like we played all kinds of sports together and stuff. And I think it like really like toughened me up because like if I would play with like him and like all his friends, they would beat the piss out of me. Like playing football and stuff. But so it's like it kind of made me better as an athlete because like I had to try to compete with these kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but you wanted that though. Like you wanted to be like able to like, I remember like being like, I'm not gonna, no way, you can't cry. You got to be like, if they hit you, you got to just take it. And then if they say like, oh, all right, this kid's tough. You know what I mean? Like that's what you were doing. Like you were doing that specifically because you wanted to take the pain, right? You know what I mean? Dude. Like you
didn't want to show them like you were like, you know, a whimper and nothing, you know what I mean? Like you get knocked around and stuff and just suck it up, really.
Yeah. And you were like, dude, and like, I'm with you. You had to. You couldn't be a noodle. They wouldn't want you around, but like you wanted to be like, I feel like when you got to play with the older kids, you're like, all right, I'm in the big leagues now. I really got to step up my game. Got to be the best. You know, like that's when you would play your best games and consequently get the shit kicked out of you. But either way. But yeah, no, Phil was a good dude. He was like, you know, he was just cool, man. He would look out for us. He was an older guy, but eventually he was absorbed into the gang. So we then relocated to another location. It was Allen's tree fort, which was in his side yard. And we rebranded. We were no longer the bad boys on the block. We were the Bulldogs, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. And then eventually Phil was only around for a couple of years because he was so much older than us. Like, you know, he started to party. He was like a year away from fucking driving and partying. You know what I mean? Like when he was with us and we were like 9 and 10. So, but I remember Al, one of the things he would tell you is that he got you the forearm thing, right? He told you to do that. Dude, you would do that like 1,000 times a day. You were just nonstop with like the forearm roller, you know what I'm talking about, Jet?
Where the weight on like a string.
You put a weight on the end of the rope and you're just fucking loved it. No, we had one of those at the gym. It's one of like the best things. But either way, big time. So then after that, Phil leaves. We had to expand again. We went down to Oak Drive, right? And we met up with Ron Scott Lesky, fan of the show, listener of the show, former guest of the show, also owner of Scott and Bell Productions. We had him, we had his sister, we had his cousin Marky, we had his cousin Eric, and then we rebranded again, and we are now the Creekside Kids, right? Creekside Kids. And we all had names, you know, like Ron was Ron the Rocket, right? I was Matt the Mangler, you know.
Because what is there's Creekside Apartments like right back there? What's the Creekside come from?
Oh, because
there's a creek. Like behind his house is like a creek.
Is it also isn't there a Creekside Cabaret?
There is.
Oh shit!
There definitely is.
There definitely is, and I've definitely not been there. I definitely didn't date a girl that worked there. But
I don't know where it is.
Yeah, never been there. Never would go there. I'm a God-fearing married man. No, he had a creek by his house. This was 20 years before Creekside Cabaret was even open. So
we're the original Creekside Cabaret.
They come to us for some brand, you know what I mean? Like we got the rights to Creekside. So either way, we had the Creekside Kids, right? That would then expand. We were the Borough Boys, but that was when we brought in like everybody was in at that point, right? We had the Munleys, the Byers, us, right? Then we had like Sam or Matt Fuller, Jerry Leach, right? The Bislines, you know what I mean? The Kinseys. It was just a whole big crew, right? And then that would eventually turn into what is now known as the Confederation of Forestry Park Natives. And when you're 4th Street, you're 4th Street for life, FYI. So in the Dearies, you know, Deary he was all over the place, that guy, but he was freaking, yeah, that guy. So either way, what's that?
The older one?
Dude, I'll tell you, that's one person I would love to get stories about.
Oh
dude,
man.
Dude. Him and your stepbrother, Nick.
Those two were fucking idiots.
Bro, they are fucking, dude, Brian Deary is legit like
he's a tough son of a bitch.
He is the toughest son of, and he would scare the piss out of us.
He wasn't scary because sometimes he would get drunk and those two would just start fucking like rams, just start going at it in the backyard, and you'd be looking at him like, there's no one here who can break this up. They'll just both beat us up and then go back at it again.
Dude, Brian Deary, right? He was like we would be scared to go over John sometime because if Brian was there, he would just like, he's like, John's not here, and then bam, he just start beating our asses.
Yeah,
like, God damn it, Brian, Jesus, you know.
Dude, I didn't even know him though. I remember he started coming over with Nick to my house. He's like, he literally like the one day, like we're in the living room together, and he starts, getting down and putting hands up. I'm like, what's happening here? He's like, I don't know you like that, but this is going down. I'm like, all right, get some, Brian, dude. It's trash me.
He's like, you're gonna be a man right now.
I was like, why are you so strong?
Oh, bro, he is one of those too. He had like freakish man strength.
Yeah, he wasn't like that much bigger than me, but he was so strong.
Oh, he was always a beast. Total. And like, dude, I remember, this is an awful story, but this fucking happened. We would play paintball a lot at Deary. So shout out John Deary, fan of the show, listener of the show. He's one of the guys. But either way, his grandmom had like this 5 acres of wood. We've been there, Justin. We've had like sleepovers there. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we've all had sleep. I think maybe that's where you guys met. Maybe a sleepover at Deary's grandmom's.
There was like a little fort there in like the middle.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a really cool place to play paintball.
Oh,
that was awesome.
The best. So yeah, we were playing paintball there one time, and when Brian would come there, it would be like maybe 4 or 5 of us. Brian would go out, right? And then we would have to go out and find him and get him, and it would turn into him hunting us, right? And like destroying us. And then dude, he really gave it to Dave. Dude, like, so Dave is your stepbrother. Dave has 2 older brothers, Nick and Mike, right? Mm-hmm. And Nick is Brian Deary's best friend, and they're like they're some bad sons of bitches. And and so Brian is with us. We're all playing paintball. We're probably like 14, 15, right? Brian's probably like, he probably is 19, maybe 18. I think he's 18.
Yeah, he was like, I think 4 or 5 years older.
Yeah. And so we're all playing paintball, and I think it was me, Dave, John. So it was me, Dave, John, Justin, and I think you 2 were actually there. But we all go out. We're hunting Brian. Mm-hmm. No one catches him. He kills all of us, right? Then he captures Dave, right? And then he's like, he gets me.
Fuck, I forgot about this. Yeah.
He gets us all. He gets us all, right? He puts Dave down on his knees, puts his hand behind his head, and with a paintball gun, point blank, shoots him and executes him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, dude, like 2 feet away. 2 feet away with a paint, like, dude, a Taman Custom 98. He's just smoking this guy. Like, he probably shot, and Dave is just like, fuck you, Brian. Fuck. Like, he was so mad, and we're just like, oh no. No. So but in your mind, we're also like, God, thank God it's not me. You know, like, oh bro. But dude, that was like, I remember seeing that, just being like, oh shit. And John being like, God damn it, like there's nothing we can do. You know,
Dave's revenge was Brian was in a halo where his, he had the thing around his head and he couldn't move his neck.
Yeah. Yeah, he had back injuries, right?
Yeah, I think he had a neck or back injury, so he couldn't, you know what I mean? He was stuck like this, right?
Yeah.
Didn't stop David all, yo, was like slapping him in the body, like pinching him and shit. And he's getting all mad. He's like, when I get out of this, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was like, aren't you gonna like be nice to him because he's in Halo? He's like, no, this is the only time I'm ever gonna be able to beat him up.
Smart.
Makes a good point. I mean,
smart.
Yeah.
Dude, so smart. Yeah. I remember one time we were like fighting over there, right? Like, we're not fighting, like, because John had a wrestling mat in his attic at first, and then he put it out in his garage. And the reason he put it out in his garage is because we were putting holes in the wall in the attic. And I remember the first one we put there, his brother was like, we're all fucked. We all need to take care of this. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, he ended up getting like plaster of Paris and stuff, but he was like the older guy that was like pretty cool, which we're gonna like. Yeah, I think he was an older guy that was like tough on us, but like as we grew up, he's like, all right, you guys are cool, like we're all neighborhood guys kind of thing, like down the road, and we'll find out more about that. So let's keep it moving. So we're all growing up together. Alan and me would like, we kind of come through the same thing. So Alan played football as a young kid, baseball, wrestling, basketball, all that kind of stuff. Baseball became his main jam. But he was good, dude. You're a good football player, everything like that, like you had some good teams. But so as far as like football goes, what do you remember? Did you like it? Was it fun? How'd you like football?
Oh, I wish I was still playing, man.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
don't you wish you were still playing defense, getting to smack somebody real good? Like,
dude, yeah. Is there, I've said it on the show before, and I fucking totally mean it. It is the best. Football is the best, right? Do we all agree?
Football's awesome.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
It's not practical at this age.
No,
like,
it's not.
Even competition, like other 36-year-olds who don't like train at all, like nothing would make me happier.
Oh, bro.
It would be a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, dude. It'd be
like
awesome.
A smokers league.
Dude, I would love, like if you could play. I mean, yeah, tackle would be nice, dude. I don't know. Even if we just played like in a receivers league, like white guys only receivers league.
Yeah, you gotta like, because I played flag.
Just so like we don't get dominated by some 17-year-old kid that's just playing, just finished now. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what hurts, like getting burned by 19-year-olds. Like, dog, I used to be able to.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, some people take it real serious, and other people are there to have fun. But it always, like, especially football, brings up the tough guy in everybody. So every flag fight turns into like somebody getting like real rough on like defense. You're like, I gotta go to work tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, buddy. Like my insurance isn't going to cover a torn ACL from a douche. You know what I mean? Right.
You don't need to play the ball in the air. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, dude. There's some guys like that would play in the flag leagues that are getting like, they would get, I remember this one guy told me a story about a guy getting like 18 stitches on a forehead from taking a knee on a kickoff return. And I'm like, in flag? And they're like, yeah, flag gets nuts. And I'm like, damn. Because apparently, I guess you can still block in flag, right? So like,
it gets real. Yeah, if it's like an all male, like if you get a co-ed league, obviously it gets a little
softer.
Nicer.
Yeah. Still, I mean, dude, football is the best, right? Like nothing like that. There is like a thing too when you're on a football team. Like, there's no being a pansy, no because when you're on a soccer team, right? Like you can pretend you're hurt. Right. You know what I mean? And like all that stuff. And they're like, oh, it's okay. There's no doing that in football. Right. And it's only like, if you don't play hard, people are just like, dude, you're a freaking noodle. You know what I mean? Like, you got to show up, you got to play hard, but then also like, dude, like rallying with the team and like fucking getting ready to go. Like, it's the best, right? When you can get hyped and go out there.
Yeah. Some of the, go ahead.
No, you go.
Some of the best times are on the bus, before a game, getting all fired up.
Yeah.
After a win is always like some of the most fun you've ever had on a bus.
Yeah.
And I'd like pads are just such a, like, if I could put on shoulder pads and helmet again, it'd be so much fun. Yeah. You feel invincible in them.
Bach, if you put on shoulder pads and a helmet right now, what's the first thing you're running into?
Probably like one of the pillars in my basement here. Definitely.
Tear this house
Putting the shoulder right into it.
Oh yeah, dude. What was the guy's name on Brayman? Right, he used to tackle fire hydrants as a kid.
Yeah.
The kid on he was the guy on the Birds. He was like a special teams guy, and he was like he loved tackling fire hydrants or something as a kid. He's a nut.
Bless him.
Yeah.
That's why he was in the NFL, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, real nice. So all right, so let's keep it moving. So then you did like wrestling for a little bit when we were younger. Shout out North Penn Panthers, best youth wrestling organization going. And then after like you did wrestling for like 3 years and then kind of got out of it. And really you did some basketball too, but you really focused on baseball. Baseball was your jam, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And what was like the appeal? What did you like? Because you still play now, right?
Yeah. I still play now.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. My dad always played, like my grandfather played.
Yeah.
They were like, my dad was pretty good in high school and all that stuff. So like, he kind of like bred me to play it really. But,
yeah,
you know, I just ended up really just like taking to it. And like the friends that I met along the way, like a couple of my friends still play with me today. So,
yeah.
I mean, I've always just enjoyed it. Like,
yeah, it's fun.
Plus pastime.
Oh, dude. Plus two. Remember, go ahead, Justin.
Sorry. Oh yeah. What do you play now? Are you in the softball? You still playing like?
No, we're playing hardball. Like we were in senior Connie Mac, which is like ages like 19 to like basically like 45 or something.
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
I think this year we're getting into a league that's like still in like this area, and I think it's like I think you're supposed to be like over 30 or whatever, but like you just play like one game on like Sunday, and it's like 9 innings instead of playing like twice a week. Like it's hard with kids playing like twice a week, like on Wednesday and Sunday, like night and stuff. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, there's 7-inning games, but still, it's like you're not getting home till like 11:30 and like 12, and it's tough with kids.
Is there any rules to like you know? Like, cause dude, one of the worst things about playing baseball as a kid is if you're on a shitty team, right? Because if you're on a shitty team and you're playing a game where it's like the 3rd inning and you're down 22-2, right? Like the worst. Is there any rules of like, all right, if they score 10 runs in this inning, just switch the other teams up or something?
Yeah, it's more like it's usually like a 10-run mercy rule, but I think there's a 15 if it's like the 4th inning or something and you're up 15 runs, like that's like it.
Oh wow. So it'll just be like,
but I'm not sure. I mean, it's probably 10 runs for this league. I don't know if it's 15, but
nice.
Yeah, like plus we've been 10 run before a lot. So in previous years, like I mean, I've been playing in this league since I was like 19, dude. So we're like the old heads now.
Didn't you guys win a state championship in that league not too long ago?
No, we were in the playoffs and stuff. A couple guys on our team won when they were on another team that was in that league.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we haven't won one.
Yeah. Apparently
I mean, I did for football, like when I was at Cannoneers, we won.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
like, we went like all the way out to like, I don't know, like Penn State and had to play and stuff. So it was pretty awesome.
Nice. Dude, I remember it. Yeah, dude, I remember that. You guys were on a killer team. You were awesome.
Like we were like one win away from going to like Disney World or something like that, like to play for like a national thing. So
yeah, you made it to like the Eastern Regional Final, right?
Yeah. And dude, I just remember like we were playing this team from Maryland and they were like all like black kids. Yeah. And like it was muddy as hell, like raining, and these kids were just cutting on a dime. Like there was like no stopping them. I remember trying to tackle this one kid taking his angle, dude, and he just went like, and I just like slid in the mud and he just like ran right past me. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you this. I played on the 140-pound team in 8th grade and we won the state championship that year. And then we had to make it to, I think we were in like the semifinals of the Eastern Regional. Like, so if we would have won that and one more game, we'd go to Disney. But so we play this team. They're from Jersey, right? So they have this thing and it's weighted football. So 140 pounds is what you could weigh, right? So you could weighted football, but if they had this thing called like an older lighter, right? So there's an age limit, right? It's supposed to be like 140 pounds between like, I think it's like 12 and 14, right? But if you were 15 and you weighed under like 115 or like if you were 15 years old and weighed under 120 pounds, you could be on the team because you're like an older kid, but you're light enough to play, right? So it was like 3 older lighters on our team, right? One of them was like my brother Tom, this other guy Nate DeCola, right? You know Nate, and I forget there was like one other kid too that they were all older lighters on our team, right? we played against the team from Jersey, right? They had 15 or 14 older lighters on their team. So they had all these kids that are like 15 years old, you know what I mean? Playing against, like, we were all like that's a big age gap from 13 to 15. And like you could even be 16 and playing, right? As long as you're an older, I think 16 was the age limit, but like they were all these older lighters, and that was basically their whole team. So they were all older than us, faster and stronger, and we got the shit kicked out of us. You know what I mean? I was like, well, what is this? You know, like if we could all, it was what, like they should be in another league with an older, you know, whatever. But it is what it is. What are you gonna do? At least we won a state championship. That was always nice. But yeah, they could cheat you with that stuff. You know what I mean? We get screwed. But yeah, so either way, let's keep it on going. So you're playing baseball, doing the damn thing. You would play baseball in high school too, right? So
Yeah.
And I remember we would go to your games all the time and stuff. The high school we went to back then, baseball, they had some good guys, but now the baseball there apparently is like lights out, right?
Yeah, like my old Legion coach is like the head coach there now. Like I think he actually came and was like a pitching coach like my senior year. Okay. But like my senior year was like, we were historically bad for like North Penn baseball. And it was weird because we had all really good kids on the team. Like, yeah,
kids that played like D1,
kids that played varsity when they were in like, 10th grade or 9th grade getting called up. So like, yeah, it was just a weird season, man. But like the year before, like we were in playoffs, all kinds of stuff. I think we made the playoffs maybe that year, but we were like not good.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bummer, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? It is what it is. When you get like, I'll tell you, man, that is tough. Like when you're on like a good team, then you're on like an okay team and you don't live up to the stand. It is what it is. You can't.
Well, you're like lose by like one run or something, like some fluke play or something would happen. And then like we would end up losing a game or like a bad call or something something like that. So like we weren't like getting blown out by people, but like, we were right there. We would just lose by like a run or two. And it was just what it was.
So I want to bring up this because this was brought up on a previous episode we had with Eric Zeblum, right? And Alan, I want you to give light to the story because it's something we talked about. So we had talked about the baseball in Hatfield at Penfield, right? Remember this, Jdub? Eric was talking about how like he went from playing baseball in Hatfield and like the Penfield organization to playing at Pembroke, and Pembroke was like a joke. Right. It was like a joke team that no one cared about. And they had gotten to talking about how in like, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, the Penfield boys baseball team was lights out. They were killing everybody. They were beating them. And then I told a story about how like these guys hadn't lost in like years. Then they came to Penfield or Pendale, which was our school. And you were on that team and you beat the team that hadn't lost in like 3 years. Is that right?
Yeah. Dan Jaycox was in the same grade as us, and he was a good player, like all through high school and everything too. But he pitched like on the 9th grade team. And I remember hitting a ball off of his shin, right, in like the 2nd inning or something, and I like got the first, right, and that started like the whole rally, dude. Yeah. And then we ended up beating them like pretty decent, I think, like maybe by a couple runs. And I don't think they lost a game in like a year or two. Like it was an insane streak. Yeah. Like they had really good kids that like ended up playing at like our varsity team, like straight from like.
And would play like D1 in college.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Like they were legit like a powerhouse. Yeah. And we like stole it from them, it was incredible.
Yeah. I remember there was a guy on his name's Drew Patel. Shout out, fan of the show, listen to the show. Yeah, Drew. Drew's a good dude. And he had worn a shirt to school the next day that said like baseball glove 20. He had with marker like wrote this on the shirt. So like baseball glove $20, baseball bat $100, baseball cleats, spikes like $80. Seeing Dan Jaycox cry, priceless.
Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome.
I was like the shit talking between middle schools. What are you gonna do? But hey man, it was all dude.
It's good competition,
Dude, I had said that exact story on like I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It was an episode, and I'd said like and I think Cabot was there, and he's like, well, not if Jaycox was pitching. I was like, I think he was. I don't know.
He was. He definitely was, dude.
Turns out. So, yep, score one for Lansdale, land of the free, home of the brave. So nice. So let's keep it moving. Then we were on the wrestling team together. We've talked about wrestling a bunch on the show, but I feel like as far as like we were pretty tight knit group on that team as well.
Oh yeah.
When you say,
well, I was friends with like everybody too before that, and then I remember junior year, like we would just be like playing in your basement, like messing around. Like you were like, "Yo, you want to wrestle?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll wrestle senior year." And so you were kind of training me. Yeah. Anyway, like halfway through the winter and stuff. So
yeah,
I did all right. I lost both varsity matches, but like I had to wrestle a kid from Blair, and he was like ranked like number 9 in the nation. And I like wrestled in high school for like a year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I just got like put in a headlock and destroyed.
Dude, I
won a lot of JV matches. So
dude,
I was
really
like
good,
pretty
man.
decent.
Yeah, you crushed it, dude. I remember, so what you're saying is in the basement of my house, we had a wrestling mat and padded walls. And we would do that because we had to like train it was year round, right? So we did it for like training year round, and like we would box down there and stuff too. But it was just like kind of like my dad had built, like before he left, he had built like a dungeon for us to like just do our training and drilling and stuff. Because for wrestling, you need to drill all the time. And like it was just, for cutting weight and stuff, it's just like our place. So Alan would come over and we go down there and like we would do drilling and like all that kind of stuff together. And like, cause I just needed someone to drill with. And eventually I was like, dude, you're getting it down. Like, why don't we just, I remember, I think you like, didn't you tear out Walt's rotator cuff when you did a lateral drop on him one time?
It was something like that, but I think he landed on some weights or something, but because the weights are like right next to like your mat, like it's just where it was.
Yeah, there was dumbbells like right there. But so here's an interesting story. So you're talking about there's this school called Blair Academy, right? And Blair Academy is how it's been the home to like Olympians and Olympic champions and national champions and like just some of the best wrestlers going. It's one of the best wrestling schools in the world. It's an incredible place where people go like if you're recruited there to wrestle, you're fucking incredible, right? So it's in New Jersey, Blairstown, New Jersey, I believe. It's called Blair Academy. Yeah. And they recruit nationally, but we were for 10th, 11th, 12th grade, we were a nationally ranked team, right? So when you're a nationally ranked team, they like you have like one of the guys we had on the team, Zach Freiling, fan of the show, listener to the show. He was the number 2 ranked guy in the nation at his weight class, right? So a lot of the times they would try to pair him against the number 1 guy. So like we would see him at tournaments, right? And then we'd see him in dual meets as well. So when they would come to the dual meets, right, they would be like, all right, you guys, you're wrestling him because it's 1 and 2 in the nation are going at each other, right? So this team, Blair Academy, was really good. So they were sponsored. They were sponsored by like Asics and Adidas, and like they had like the best uniforms, the freshest shoes, the freshest gear, right? Like they had stuff that wasn't even out yet for people to buy, right? One of the things they had, it was a headgear, right? So a headgear is kind of like a headset. It covers your ears to prevent cauliflower ear. They make you wear it at the amateur level. So either way, I was wrestling at the Beast of the East, and I just got knocked out of the tournament in my second loss, right? It was a 2-loss elimination. I just got knocked out of the tournament, and I was like, God damn it. So I was pissed, and I'm like standing by the bleachers, and I saw like this kid from Blair's headgear there. So I took my stuff and my sweat, like my sweatshirt or like my warm-up jacket and stuff. I threw it on top of the headgear, picked it all up with the headgear in it, and walked away and stole it, right? Yeah. 3 weeks later, right? 3 weeks later, I would be wrestling the kid whose headgear I stole.
Are you wearing it?
Oh, I'm wearing it, right? Because, and I'm like, and he knew it was his because they didn't make them anywhere else. Like they were the only ones that had them, right? And they were there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it their colors and shit too?
Exactly. It was their team colors, right? Which were the same as ours. So it matched. Well, somewhat similar to ours, but it was the same team colors and everything like that. And I remember like we're going to wrestle and we get in like a tie-up. And this kid, I think his name was Maciog. I think it was Alex Maciog, but he was also ranked. I think he was like number 3 in the nation or something like that at his weight class. right?
Yeah.
So I go out and we lock up, and the first thing I say, I was like, how do you like my headgear? And he was just like, you know, like just angry. And I was like, what are you gonna do? You know, and I ended up losing that match. But I just remember fucking like, I remember dying laughing when we were like, because in the middle you have to choose like up and down. I just remember just fucking losing it, and everyone's just like, what is wrong with this kid? And I was like, I'll tell you after the match. So either way, but yeah. So nice. So let's keep it moving. So yeah, we did some wrestling, but at our school, there was things you could do. And Cabot did this, and like a bunch of other kids, is you do your regular courses at school, but then also you had the option to go to tech school where they could teach you a trade, right? So Al, you would do the regular classes at school, but then in 9th grade, you started the tech school. Is that right?
Yeah. So they would like bus us over from like Penndale, Pembroke, like, you know, the middle schools and stuff.
Yeah.
And same with like other districts, because it's like North Monco, so it's like North Montgomery County.
Yeah.
So like Methacton kids would go there, Sourton kids, all that stuff.
Yeah. How did you like it?
It was great, man. Like in 9th grade, they give you like kind of like a cluster to do. So if you want to do construction, like you'll do carpentry for 2 weeks or like masonry for 2 weeks, like,
nice.
you know, all that stuff. So like you kind of narrow down what you want to do for like the first like semester, I guess. And then like once you pick, like you're in like that, you know, occupation. So
nice.
Yeah.
So they let you kind of like test everything out and do the stuff. Dude, I loved like going to like wood shop and like working with tools and all that. I always thought that was a blast, right? Like I loved like going to those classes, but you got to go to the tech school. And I remember, dude, it was like you caught on to it pretty good. And did you pick electrician right away, or how did it go?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of narrowed that down because my teacher was saying like you can make like a good wage like doing this.
Yeah.
You know, you know, so I was like, yeah, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And plus I was interested in it because when we were playing baseball one night, remember playing at Memorial Field, and they used to have like the old football lights.
Oh yeah.
They would have like the disconnect on the side. So like I remember I was going to turn out the lights, and I like had my shoe, like I changed out my spikes or whatever. So I was going over, and I remember Shake was going to like dead center field to turn the lights off. Yeah. And I remember like, I forget, I think there was like, it wasn't like grounded properly or something, and it didn't have rubber on the handle. So like I had my hand on the fence, and when I pulled the disconnect, like put my hand on it to pull it, I got like lit up. And I remember Shake saying something like, dude, I thought you were playing around, but you're like going like this, like shaking around. So like, yeah, so I finally like pulled myself off of it, and I must have sprinted from like left center to like second base in like 2 seconds. And I remember Mr. Deary was there, and he was an electrician, so he kind of went out and like, you know, took a meter and saw what was going on with it. Oh, but yeah, that was crazy. Shit. And I was like, dude, if I was wearing my metal spikes, I'd probably be done.
Yeah,
because like I had metal cleats back then. Like,
yeah.
So I was always kind of interested, like why that happened to me. So like that was another reason I kind of like picked electricity. You know what I mean, being an electrician. But it was crazy.
Here.
There he is. Tomas.
So for all
did
you guys,
did you start throwing the ball faster?
You know, I wore PF Flyers too.
Yeah. Rookie of the year.
Yeah,
little Henry Rowan got there. So for all those listening, we've just been joined by Tom Lavelle. Tom asked specifically to come on to this show, Al, because he knows how good of a guy you are and how much he likes you and how he's always thought he is, you know, a good dude. So he's happy to jump on. And
more like a brother than a friend, Alan.
I would agree. Al was one of those that was, you know, our house, we had like it was like a hotel at our place. And Al was he had a permanent room, we'll say, at the Hotel Lavelle. What are you gonna do?
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So nice. So you almost get zapped. Did you later in life would there be times that you would get zapped on the thing or what?
Yeah, I mean every once in a while, like when I was non-union too, like we didn't have a lot of safety stuff, and you know they would just be like, oh hey, you know, put this in or whatever, like. So it's like I remember putting in like a dry receptacle, man. I was like went across like my chest. It was like boom, and I was like, what the hell, like. Because I guess somebody had like turned a breaker on or something like in one of the closets. Like, so there wasn't a lot of like safety stuff going on. So I haven't been hit in a long time. So
Have you ever seen someone get seriously fucked up?
No, but we had a couple incidents where people got really like somebody got killed like in our local for it. And and it was like just like somebody told them like something was dead, and like I guess like they couldn't check it or something somehow, because I think it was like a high voltage line. And then it was sad because I was like, I knew the guy, like I was like kind of friends with him and stuff. So
oh my god,
it was just a shame,
dude. What the fuck, dude? Like, how strong does the like? I mean, like, what kind? Like, if I were to touch a telephone wire, like outside, would that kill me? Like, how?
No, that's like real low voltage. That's like under 50 volts and stuff.
Okay.
Like
that would just
you wouldn't even really feel anything, honestly.
How
it's like the current? It's like the current that like is what kills you basically. Like that's what cooks you from the inside out.
Oh shit. So that's a bad way to die.
That's why if you get like electrical burns and stuff, they got to skin graft you all the time because like your skin's healing from the inside out. So they got to like scrub all the dead skin off like every day and like put like, stuff on there. Like it's like really painful.
Wait, say that again. So what happens?
It kind of cooks you from the inside out like a microwave almost.
Oh,
so if you get like burns from like electrical stuff, like it's like dead tissue under like your skin and shit, and it has to work its way out. Like your skin's got to heal, like all the little layers of skin have to heal underneath before like it starts healing the outside. So
wow,
yeah, it's like not good.
What would you say is the worst way to die, Bach?
That's got to be up there, but I mean, I guess it can be pretty instant too. If it's like high current, high voltage stuff, I don't think the linemen, like the guys that do the poles, I don't think they wear a lot of safety stuff, dude. Because I think if you make a mistake, you're done.
That's what I'm saying. Like if a telephone pole, right? Is that what you mean? Like,
yeah, but like you're talking about like the lower cables, all like the low voltage, like phone lines and stuff. But like the high stuff's like not insulated. So like I mean,
if you were to touch that, are you just like zapped, like see ya?
Well, I mean, you could really be on it if you're at the same potential as that, but once you touch like something else that's like grounded, it's going right through you because it's taking the path of least resistance. So
woof, dude. What about the huge telephone ones? Like they're massive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the big, like the really big lines, like
the
transmission lines.
Ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm sure you're cooked. Like if you screw up on that, dude, you're done.
Like, would it turn you to like ash? Does it vaporize you?
Probably, dude. Yeah, probably.
What?
I don't know if it vaporizes you, but like you're probably charred and unrecognizable, I would say.
Wow.
Like skin melts off. Like, like you're in serious trouble if you touch something like that.
Wow.
What about I work at a bar and there's a ton of electricians that come in the bar, right? And like a lot of union guys from various unions. So they're all like these, like, kind of like you, like the blue collar, like, not as handsome as you. But
of course.
Who is?
I'm waiting to see, are there any hot electricians? Like good looking chicks in the electricians union?
Good looking chicks come in like as an apprentices and stuff. Yeah. But I don't hey man, they're few and far between, but
that's not a lot of hot chicks in the electricians union.
No.
Well, like there's a lot of stuff we do with like heavy pipe. I'm like, you think
get your head out of the gutter. Down for heavy pipe,
but it's like. But are you going to expect some like 112-pound girl to lift like something that weighs 90 pounds and like screw it in like with a wrench? Like it's not easy work to do. It's labor intensive.
Physically, it's physical.
So, I mean,
do you
kind of. But
do you climb the towers?
No, I don't do any of that stuff. That's like the lineman local. They do a lot of that with bucket trucks and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm more like inside wireman, like lights, receptacles, like motor control kind of stuff.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah, you will die inside, not outside.
I mean, no, you'll die inside. Like you'll die in your house if you like mess up. Yeah. Inside.
Dude, I remember.
Yeah, but at least you're not in the cold.
Yeah. I remember too, one time like we went to Wegmans and you had put in, like, you were showing me all this stuff, like you pointed up at the ceiling, like you had done all that inside the Wegmans, right? Like that's pretty, I mean, Wegmans, fan of the show, listen to the show. But
great lighting at Wegmans. The best lighting I've ever seen at Wegmans.
The best. But yeah, dude, that's like pretty impressive. Like that you like if I were to look up at the if any of us besides Allen were to look up at the ceiling of the Wegmans, we're looking and it's like fucking Chinese up there. We don't know what we're looking at, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't even know. You're just like, oh, it's a ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. But you're looking up there and you're seeing like everything that like you could like see how it was put together. To me, that's like fascinating that you're able to do.
Yeah.
Tom, I'm surprised you haven't said hi to Justin yet, since he was your best friend on the last show you guys were on.
My boy Jdub. Saying what's up, Jdub.
Dude, is electricity not like voodoo to you? I have no idea.
I would say this conversation right now is electric.
Whoa.
It's like one of those things. If I went back in history and they're like, all right, so like, how does electricity work? I'd be like, I don't fucking know. I don't know how to do anything.
You tell me.
You're like, you put this wire to this wire and you got it.
I'll tell you what, I did some work in my basement. Like I put in the lighting in the basement. I think I was showing you, Matt. Once you kind of get just the lighting, I'm not messing with any boxes. You know what I mean? Like I turn it off. I can run the wire. I put the black and the white in, and I put the ground in, and I'm, and I move on to the next thing. It wasn't that bad. Plumbing is a bitch. Plumbing fucking sucks, dude. I hate plumbing.
Let's try to stay away from that.
Plumbers. Oh my God, the shit they're doing. I'm like, this is awful.
Who runs the job site, Bach? Like I hear it like whenever we have someone who's like in construction or whatever, they'll be like, oh, the carpenters run the site. You can't do it without the carpenters. And then the plumbers are like, no, the plumbers, they run the site. And then the masons are like, we mason the site. Where the
Can I jump in real quick with this?
Yeah.
Like I said, several unions come in, right, to the bar. I got carpenters, I got laborers, I got electricians, whatever.
Right. The glass union.
I would say they think the electricians think they're better than everyone else. It's like the best. I think it's the best paying job. I think it's like the one you want to get in if you're going to get into one. So I would say there's jealousy amongst the other unions towards the electricians union. Bach, have you ever felt that?
I have. Many times.
I knew you did.
Many times.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like us and the fitters are like kind of neck and neck with like,
fitters.
Yeah, steam fitters.
Steam fitters?
Yeah, they do like a lot of cast iron pipe for like fire alarm kind of stuff. Like valves, all kinds of stuff like that. So
they're like plumbing's cousin then, right?
Yeah, I mean they're like, great plumbers, I guess you could say. Like better than just like the regular guys that are like soldering.
They're like Mario and Luigi.
Yes.
Right. Sure.
Exactly.
That level.
That level. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What that I remember I had a teacher that told me like if you were to ever join the military, he's like, fuck what they tell you about macho bullshit. He's like, if you're gonna join the military, join the Air Force. They sleep in air conditioning and heat. You get hot meals. It's clean, right? He's like, all the other ones, it's filthy, dirty, and you're starving and tired and all that bullshit. The Air Force treats you right. So it's kind of like the electricians are, like they get taken care. They're like they're the VIPs of the construction game.
You guys got into any of your war stories? You and Bach?
Not yet. Not really.
Jdub, these morons used to play war in the backyard every day. They were playing war, and they had.
It was the best.
Let's see. Do you guys remember the Warriors code?
Shut up.
What's the Warriors code, Matt?
I don't know. Do you know, Bach? I forget.
I don't know what it is.
In the Warriors code, there's no surrender, Jdub. When your body says stop, your spirit cries never.
Yeah,
that's right.
That?
Copyrighted that. FI.
Yeah.
Well, when we were playing war, what were we using for guns? Were we sticks or Nerf or what?
Obviously, you gotta have sticks. When you're primitive, but when you start going up in the ranks,
it depends what period we were in, right?
Yeah. They were generals. If there's pretend war backyard games, you're looking at Patton and Eisenhower.
I
They're the creme de la creme.
Look, I was
of
a young
backyard
Ulysses
war.
S. Grant. All
That's
right.
right.
I love the good stick war, but so my father leaves and goes to Souderton. I don't have any friends there. The kid 2 houses down, his uncle was one of the heads up at HK, Heckler and Koch, one of the best gun manufacturers, and would send him these plastic, sometimes rubber, like shell guns. They didn't fire or anything, but they looked exactly like the HK, the MP5. So we played war at that kid's house with like real fake guns just running out of the field. And it was, I mean, you had to make your own noises, but it was like
the
incredible.
best.
You take them out of the real case, you know?
Oh, the best.
Fucking awesome.
That's crazy, man. Like
Dude,
thinking about that now, it's like cop rolls by. He sees this kid with like, a submachine gun like running around, like it looks real. Like, what is going on here? Like,
you better be white.
Nowadays.
Dude, so when we were real young at our house, like we had talked about how my dad was strict earlier. He didn't let us have guns when we were young, right? And then, but we were allowed. He was like, all right, who cares? Eventually he stopped caring about the guns. But Allen had a pretty sweet set. He had a couple good nerfers, but yeah, it was sticks. But then also, like, it was also period based when we would play war, because there's sometimes we were in medieval times, right?
Mhm.
But then there's sometimes we're freaking in, the Civil War. We got to charge with some bayonets, right?
I would say you guys jumped from medieval to civil to Vietnam or World War II. Like you guys were like,
we would storm the beach. We were storming the beach. We got to storm the beach.
Right.
We got to storm the beach.
I look out the backyard, like I look out the window, and I'm like, what are these idiots doing back there? And then I think they were complaining, like, I shot him, but he didn't move.
No, there'd be
First
times.
of all, you have invisible bullets. You don't even have anything shooting out of this stuff.
There'd be times, but like, say if Allen got shot in the leg, I'd have to carry Allen back.
Yeah.
Put him on my arm, and I have to take him back. Can't leave a man behind.
Dude, I think even when we died, we would like go back for like the body. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, Matty's coming back.
I'm dragging him. Yeah.
No man left behind.
That's the Warriors code.
That's right.
Yeah. We would but we would eventually we would tie that into when we would play paintball too, because we would have there's a lot of times we would have one gun, right? When we were playing paintball. So we would play a game we called Normandy, where there was we had a creek near our house in the woods, and there was an area that was kind of like one person would stand on one side of the creek and they'd be in a nest pretending they had a machine gun, which would be the paintball gun, and then one person would be on the other side and they'd have to run from one tree across through the creek to the other tree while the other person's shooting at them. And let me tell you, it was fun. I mean, I remember you remember Bodis?
Bodis, yeah.
Remember Bodis? Shout out Bodis, fan of the show, listen to the show. But I remember one time we were playing and I thought I'd emptied the hopper, right? I thought I'd emptied all the paintballs and I had one left in the chamber, right? And I went up to Bodis and I put the gun right on his jacket, right? Right on him. And I fucking shot it. And I thought it was a dry fire, right? I thought I was just gonna shoot air. And I shot it, and there was one in there, and he was just like, oh, he was really hurt. I was like, you fucking pussy! I just dry fired you, nothing came out. And then the next day, he showed us his shit was really fucked up.
Oh yeah,
I really messed him up. And I was like, oh damn, sorry, Otis.
Yeah, a welt there, and it was all black and blue, and oh yeah, dude.
Jdub, are you thinking of when we would play
Revolutionary War?
Yes,
I think you were there, Bob. That's one of the dumbest games I've ever played in my life.
Oh, come on, man! That game was awesome.
It was fun, but it was so
tell me
fun.
how scary that was when you just had to hold your hand over your nuts and put your head down so you didn't get hit.
Wait, what's the game?
And they're whizzing by it.
This is how it would go, right? It would be even numbers on each side, right? So say if it's it would be me and Bach and Justin versus John, Dave, and Dildo, right? And so we're there. You'd have to stand 3 of us in a straight line, right? You get one shot at a time and you have to reload it in between shots, like you're in the Revolutionary War and you have a musket that's a one-shot musket, right? And you have to start walking towards each other at like a slow marching pace. And
we would do it rounds of fire. You would fire once, and then everyone would take a step forward.
Take
and
a
then
step,
you would fire once, and then everyone would take a step forward.
But it would rotate, right? It would be like one side shoots first, then the other one's like walks, and like then they can reload, and the other side shoots.
Yeah.
And if you get shot in the leg, you gotta loot, like you gotta hop on one leg. You get shot in the arm, you only got one arm, right? So you like by the time we get, dude, like we'd start maybe like 40 yards away. By the time we're done, we're like 10 feet from each other.
Oh yeah, dude, like close.
You'd be on your knees because you lost both legs.
You had to put your hand over your dick and like hope it doesn't hit like a bad spot.
Me and Bach had the genius idea one time because I watched the movie The Patriot, right? And I just screamed, I was like, "Buy twos!" And Bach just got down on one knee in front of me, and we just. It didn't matter because it like, dude, when you see one bullet just miss your target, you're just like, oh, and you know, like it's their turn next.
Yep.
Bro, it gets pretty spicy.
That's not a good feeling.
No,
it's a bad feeling.
Oh, it's the worst. But that, dude, I'd play Revolutionary War again. That was pretty fun.
Yeah,
we should do it. We should do it.
Great.
Set it up with friends of the show. Little Revolutionary.
You know what? Maybe that, honestly, I was thinking of like a challenge video to shoot. We should do that. Would you guys
do that? Right? But everyone dresses up like, have the bandages and all this shit. Like someone playing the drums.
Somebody's got a drum and then somebody's got a fife.
Yeah. When's like the anniversary of the Battle of Valley Forge or something?
Matt, that wasn't a battle, buddy. You better go back to school.
When they walk, they just went. It just happened. But it just happened, I think. I think it was like a couple, maybe less than a month ago.
Yeah.
But you could do it. I mean,
we could do whatever, right?
4th of July, whatever.
Yeah, we could ever. That's not a,
Yeah, you know what? That made me think of the paintball. Remember when we used to come back from school and we would hang out for a little bit and we were like watching TV, kind of like smoking a little bit. And you'd be like, yo, man, it's almost time. I'm like, time for what? You're like, oh, the LC cross country team's going to run by the house. So we would go up on the roof and just start lighting them up. Like, run, motherfuckers.
You idiots did that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you
guys got in trouble for that.
Well, we got in trouble because we were shooting school buses.
I forgot about that from the backyard, you morons.
We were
on the roof of Mills.
But like we were on the roof thinking no one would see us. But then like when a cop came by, we're like, oh shit, where can we run? We're on the fucking roof, But yeah,
that's got a lot of action up on that roof.
That's right. God,
rooftop Matty.
Oh man, that roof has seen some times. But dude, no, that was when we would there was I felt bad. There was some we shot some people that weren't expecting it. There would just be random people too that we would shoot and then like fucking
casualty of war.
Dude, but like it was like I remember like almost exploding with laughter when we shot someone, and they'd be like, God damn it, what the fuck?
The best part was they came back like the next they would run the same route, so we would just go up there again and start lighting them up.
Yeah, it was
what we used to do was like it would be hot, right? And so we would always go look for left hand, like the green arrows. And we would just keep circling these green, like if you could get like a green arrow, like the first left turn. So we had water guns in the car and it'd be hot and people would have their windows down. And so as soon as that green arrow would come and we could go and everyone else was sitting at the red light, we would just blast them with water guns and then roll and then take off.
That they wouldn't be able to follow you.
They wouldn't be able to follow us because we had the green light to go and we were making a left and they're going straight.
That's the best.
Then we'd be like, all right, let's go fill up and get him again.
Yeah. That's a great idea, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about a challenge video. I think we're doing, fucking clear calendars, guys. Because I still have my paintball gun. I have a Tippmann Custom 98. Bach, you have one too, right?
I don't know where it got to, man. I can't find that thing. I've looked.
What will you need? Like 10 paintball guns?
We could even, we'd only need like 5 because if we shot it where it's like
rotate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'd only need half, but I mean, like, say if we had like 6 people, you know what I mean? I think we could scrounge up 6 guns, you know? I mean, dude, that'd be
it would have to be everyone on the show. You'd have to get like you, Bach, Jdub, Cabot, if he would do it, if Byrne would come down.
I could talk Debo, but
and we can get Diana, and then we can all just turn on her and shoot her.
I think we got to get wasted to do it too.
Oh, dude, it'd be great. Like, we could do it. Yeah, we could turn it.
We could have several battles. Oh my god, dude, we need to do the medieval times. Someone do era, and then we'll get into the Civil War. We'll Revolutionary War, Civil War. We'll start like doing the different ones.
Yeah, the timeline.
Yeah.
It'll be like 5 rounds.
I think we just thought of this is a genius idea, right? Like, I think this will be great content. Shooting, doing war day.
War day.
Yeah, Raw's war. That's what we're calling it.
What would be the war day?
Point it.
We'd have to come up with like the war. I mean, it'd have to be D-Day, but that's my wedding anniversary.
Yeah, I'm right after that, so that's a no-go for me.
Yeah.
We could do a spring war day, April Fool's.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we could do it on whatever day and release it on whatever day.
That's a good point.
Spanish-French war.
I mean, we could do it on January 5th, which is the anniversary is the show's anniversary. First ever episode aired January 5th, 2021. So, I mean,
we could cold.
I mean, that makes it even worse because the paintballs freeze and then they turn into fucking. What have you ever seen like the videos with like the pellets? Right, like they played like the air rifle guns, Like I've seen
I always wanted to do that airsoft. I wanted to try that.
Maybe we should do it with those instead.
They look like real guns.
Yeah,
airsoft. I'd have to look it up.
People take that. Oh yeah, people take that shit so seriously
because they look like real guns, and you can get real scopes on there and stuff. That could be real fun.
Yeah,
would it hurt? I mean, how bad does it hurt?
I don't know.
Paintball.
Yeah, it's probably the same as a paintball.
Yeah, because they fly pretty fast, and you usually get hit with a couple when you do get hit. But I mean, paintballs leave welts, yo. I've had rings on me. Like I never got shot with a paintball before, and Dilberto's there, so he's like, "Oh, go out 30 feet."
Shout out Dilberto.
So I turn my back. I let him shoot me. He shoots me in the back of the ear.
Oh,
that's the worst,
dude. The worst, dude.
Ear. It just whaps, and I'm like, "What the fuck
was
are
it
you
cold?
doing?" I mean, we were playing out back at John's grandma's. I know I was all like suited up, so it was probably chilly.
Dude, I remember
Matt, I caught one at your bachelor party just walking back, and it hit me like right here, dude. And it hurt so bad because there's like no nuts on there, it's in skin.
Dude, the worst too.
What the hell? Like missed my mask.
Oh, if you get hit in like the back of the thighs, right? Too, like that hurts. I remember. Do you remember when we played paintball at my bachelor party? We played against like the JV fucking Navy SEAL team.
I remember you were just lighting the referee up. That was the best part.
They were like SWAT. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, they crushed.
Remember the refs like, dude, stop shooting me.
Oh,
you were just like lighting them up, and you had to go behind a tree.
Yeah, we were first off, we had rented all the gear, right? And the masks they give you fog up, like you can't see a damn thing.
They suck.
Yeah. So we're at this area of the course called the castle, and the castle has these like really tall towers, right? So I'm at the top of this tower, and I told all the guys, I was like, look, this is the last game. So everyone just shoot till you run out of ammo. Like, let's get rid of all of it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm up in this tower, and there's like, let's say what do you think? There was like 50 people in the castle, right? And then there's 50 people that assaulted the castle. Right. So like you're in there and people are charging the castle and you're like shooting them as they charge. It was pretty fucking great. Right. And then I'm looking out and there's like trees behind it. And I look and I see a guy in the trees and he's right by a tree. And I just start fucking lighting him up. And there's like other guys with me. And I'm like, fucking let's get him, guys. Come on. And they're like, people I don't even know. But everyone's like, yeah, let's get him. And like, dude, it's like 3 rifles, or 3 guns are just like, I'm fucking hammering this guy. Right. And he's like hiding behind a tree, like cringing for his life. I'm like, you pop your head out, you're a dead man, like just lighting this thing up. And he's screaming. And all of a sudden we hear people yell, stop shooting the referee. You're and I'm like, that was me. Dude, I probably shot 100 rounds at him. Like,
dude, you lit him up.
Going nuts. But yeah. So yeah, almost died that day also. We're survivors of the boat.
I just remember Pete having like that suit that didn't fit him, so he was wearing like cargo shorts, like it was just like pulled up.
He had like capris.
He had capris on. Yeah, it was awesome.
Like a capri onesie. I don't know.
He looked great, but no, that was
The suits weren't flattering, to say the least.
No, not to anybody. But dude, that was a fun ass day, man. What a day! But
glad to be alive after that.
Yeah, how about it?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So
people die on.
Did you guys talk about that? Yeah.
People die on the river.
We've brought it up, but we haven't. I think we brought it up with Pete, but we haven't gone into like total detail.
What was his name? Sundip?
Oh, Sundeep.
Sundeep. I love that guy, but that motherfucker, I wanted to kill him that whole boat.
Dude, that was
I wanted to kill that guy.
I was so mad at him. I was like, dude, when we say row, you need to fucking row.
We're like, don't move. And he's like, oops.
Dude,
when he flipped the boat, the first 5 minutes in, I was like, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Dude, he flipped our boat. He did. They did a whole. Yeah,
we're white. So we're whitewater rafting in the Lehigh Gorge, right? And they let go the Lehigh Valley Dam that day. So
Dam.
So there's like 4 levels of rapids, and we were
and it rained the couple days before and the night before,
and
it rained hard
and during. Remember that?
And so
that was the worst.
Yeah,
was.
There's 4 levels.
It was the best, but it was the worst.
Yeah, there's 4 levels of rapids, and we were on level 3, right? And we were also all like hungover as balls from the night before.
We literally drank.
Yeah, well, I got hungover pretty quick when we did.
Yeah. When you take your first dip in the water, you fucking sober up
pop,
right away.
When you got your first pop.
Oh, when you get your first pop.
When you
gotta get a pop here.
Gotta get a pop in.
Dude, but so we all get in the rafts. We have our life jackets on, but prior to getting
hold on a second. Yeah, there was a 30-minute thing where they're like, well, not even. It was like 10 minutes. All right, look, when you got to do this, you got to do that. You fall in. But the number one rule, they said it like everyone, repeat after me. The number one rule, if you're going into a rock or a boulder, whatever, do not jump to the other side of the boat. Don't jump to the other side of the raft because you're going to go into it. Just bounce off of it and come back. You're fine. Do not go to the other side of the raft. It will flip your raft. They said it multiple times. 2 minutes into this fucking raft ride, we go into our first boulder. This motherfucker jumps to the other side of the raft and flips us. And now the raft's on top of us, and people are like, you're hitting rocks. You're hitting stones. You're going through all this shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Dude, when we flipped, we got smoked. I remember like nailing the bottom. I remember you were out there and I grabbed you and I'm like, come here. And when I hit you, my arm like dunked you underwater and you're like
drowning Tom.
He's drowning. I'm like, get the fuck off of me. I'm like, I can swim, dude.
I was lucky enough to come up under the raft and grab it and try to like slow down so we could get back in.
Dude,
banging my legs,
our oars, all that stuff.
Nailed your legs.
Oh yeah,
banging your legs on things. So I'm like curling up, like they said. I'm like, I'm trying to like, just so I can hit feet first, and I don't want to like. And later on, the fucking. So, dude, we're going down these rapids, and now every time we're like, not only did he flip the raft, after that we're going down rapids. He's like he's not paying attention. We're like, dude. What are you doing? You're gonna flip us again.
But when we initially started the raft, there was a big group of us. So we had 2 rafts, right? So in our raft initially, it was me, Allen, Tom, Sundeep, and then my brother-in-law, Marcel, right? We flipped the raft. Marcel gets picked up by the guys in the other raft. And they say to him, like, okay, do you want us to take you back to that boat? And Marcel said to them, I'm never getting back in their boat again. Right. So it was just the 4 of us. So, and then the other raft, it was like Pete, John Bell, Matt Gamble, Marcel, and Munley.
Yeah. We just needed someone else paying attention. I mean, if he would have just done like the obvious, we would have been fine. But he just was like, so whatever.
We would eventually get into our roles where it's like someone there's 4 corners of the raft, 2 people in the back, 2 people in the front, and like the back person could kind of steer, right? And then everyone else is like, when you say row, you got to row and you got to know like where you're going and what's going on. Right. And like, one person's yelling, everyone else is listening. Dude, we were taking some bumps and like, right. And like, we saw, dude, remember the guy who broke his leg?
Oh, yeah.
I never forget that guy.
No, man.
Forget that guy.
There was like, because there's like probably like what, like 20 rafts, something like that.
There was a ton of rafts, and there was like 3 people with the rafts. There was like 3 or 4 instructors or whatever.
Yeah.
With the guides
in kayaks. They were in kayaks, like escorting the rafts. And this dude,
like each like rapid interaction, they'd be like they're waiting.
They're like 2 up front and 2 in the back, basically. Like, all right, they were corralling us.
Yeah. And there was this one guy, right? There was another group that looked like another bachelor party kind of thing. And they were like guys like our age. And there was one guy there, like, and they were like doing whatever, and just having a good time. And like they'd gotten ahead of us, right? And then I remember we all like caught up to them, and we floated by. We floated by. One guy's on the raft. His buddy's like laying on him, like they're back to like his back is laying on him. The other guy's holding him, like, dude, you're gonna be okay. You see the guy's going straight, and his leg is just like, dude, like an L, right?
Yeah.
It was, bro.
His
and
face was white.
Dude,
it was terrible.
And it must have taken like an hour for an ambulance to get there.
There was nowhere to go.
No, we were in the middle of nowhere.
We were in the middle, and you had to go up. Like, so I'm like, how the fuck are they getting this guy out of here? And then it started torrential downpouring, like lightning, thunder, like crazy downpouring. I was like, I'm gonna get electric. Like,
we're gonna die on this river. Yeah, we're gonna die on this river.
I'm gonna get electrocuted. These metal fucking oars I'm holding. I'm like, these guys. This is it. This is how I'm gonna die on this stupid fucking stupid. Don't plan this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I planned it.
I remember at the height of it, they said we're going up to the biggest rapids, right? It was like you do like 2 hours, take a break, then you finish with 2 hours, and then you're done. But we were on the second half, and they're like, look, we're coming up to the biggest rapids, right? The guy just broke his leg. And it's, dude, torrential downpour. We're in a fucking monsoon. We're headed to the worst rapids.
Like, pull over on the highway. Torrential down where you're like, dude, I can't see anything.
Couldn't see like a foot in front of you, right?
Our boat is flooded because there's nowhere for the water to go.
Yeah, you can't bail it out fast enough.
We're just bailing out while people are trying to row. Someone else is bailing it out. We're going nuts, dude. I look to our left. There's a dad and his girl, and then like 3 little kids on this raft, and they're just like crying hysterically, like, what are we gonna do? Like. The dad's trying to like hold it together and just make sure everyone gets out alive. He's like, you're gonna be okay. Everyone just blah blah blah. Like the dad's just trying to save this, whatever. And then I look to my right, and there's this
Asian
boat
family
with this Asian family, calm as
loving it, just loving life. They
were
a machine.
It's like they were just at a tea party, just coasting down the river.
Cruised right by us.
Right. Just nothing going on. Just hey guys, having a good day.
Another day on the river.
Yeah,
these are some boring rapids.
Yeah.
And then
there's on the river,
dude. There's us being like, fucking row.
I felt if we had like a cohesive unit, if we had that 4th person to like, row when they were supposed to, I feel like we would have been okay. It was this, he wasn't, and I'm still waiting for him to jump. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and I actually ended up really liking the guy, but I was like, I hated him because that was the first night because he wasn't there the night before. And I'm like, this freaking guy.
Dude, I remember like, I think I had fallen out of the raft and he's like standing there looking at me. And I'm like, bro, you need to help me, like, grab me. I'm fucking floating away here. And I think Al or Tom, like you guys jumped in and grabbed me or something. You know what I mean?
I think you were halfway out of the raft.
Yeah, you were like almost.
You were like, we were like pulling back in.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my God, great times,
We survived.
After we survived the raft apocalypse, we then went and got smoked by the JV Navy SEAL SOCOM team at paintball. Yeah. And then fucking watched WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, that ref deserved it.
Yeah. After that. But yeah, so either way, Bach, you're at the tech school, right? You choose electrician. You got zapped at, I'll tell you this, Memorial Park, when we were coming up, like I remember when we were in Little League, I was like, dude, I can't wait to play at Memorial Park, to play under the lights.
They had dugouts. They had the dugouts then. Like the one dugout was like in the ground. Like it was awesome.
Yeah. It was the best. And then eventually you would get zapped by the light when we were there. No big deal. And then you would be like, all right, I want to kind of figure out how this thing almost fried me. And then you start, you're at the tech school, you're getting into electrician. What is like the early years of an electrician kind of at the tech school? How does that go?
Well, you just teach you kind of the basics of like AC, DC, kind of like theory behind like how the electrons flow.
Listening to music in class?
Yeah, you know it, buddy. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Then they shook you all night long.
That's right. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. There was some Hell's Bells going down in that place. All right. So either way, so you're at the tech school. I remember there was a teacher there that you really liked, right? Is that right?
Yeah, Mr. K. He was awesome, man. He was like a Vietnam vet. I think he was a 98 electrician, like foreman, like I guess back in like the 80s and stuff. And then he wanted to like teach. So then he eventually like got into like North Monco as a teacher.
And just started. Also, too, this is when you would you would get introduced to a friend of ours known as alcohol. Is that right?
Yeah.
What happened? We discussed this guy earlier in the show, Brian Deary. Right.
Yeah.
So I remember because I think I was at Penndale at this time. I had left Catholic school, gone to Penndale, and you would go to the tech school and then you would come back to Penndale and we would walk home. Right. And I remember you coming back being like, dude, I'm fucking whacked up. Like, what is, so.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because like Brian was at LC and he was like a senior. And like, this is like, he's getting ready to graduate. So he don't give a shit. Right. Yeah. And Brian could drive. And I had to take the bus from Penndale. And like, it so happened at the time he was there and I was there, we were in like class together.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a couple seniors were in the back and it was like all these like, ninth grade kids or whatever. Yeah. And I remember like, I was like, oh, Brian, you drove? He's like, yeah, you want to give me a ride home? Cause like, Lanesdale Catholic and Penndale aren't that far apart.
Yeah. And he lives near us.
Yeah. And he lives near us. So he's like, yeah, I'll take you. So like we get in the car and he's got like a half gallon of like Rosie's, like, iced tea sitting there.
Yeah.
I was like,
Rosenberger's iced tea.
And he's like, that's not all iced tea, dude. He's like, I got some like, I forget what he even had in there. I think it was some kind of liquor. Yeah. It might have even been vodka. It was something like that. I think it was like a whiskey, to be honest with you.
All right.
And he's like, yeah, I mean, you can have some of that, right? So like, I think I drank like maybe like a quarter of the half gallon. So like, I was fucked up. Like,
so it was more whiskey than tea.
Yeah, and it's only like a 15-minute ride, like back from tech school. So like I was like hitting it pretty hard. Like we were going back and forth, like swinging it, but I must have swung a lot because like I got out of the car, like forgot my backpack. He had to like call me to come get it. And then like I just remember, man, when I was in class, if I sat down, I was fine. But like once I had to get up, it was like Spin City.
Oh, I was like, baby. Nice. Brian Deary, corrupting the youth. I was always a fan of Brian. I like him.
Brian's awesome.
Yeah. He's a bit of a wild card.
He is a little bit.
He was badass, dude. I remember him. I was always like, I never really knew him. You know what I mean? But like, he was always nice enough to me. But like, I just always thought this dude's crazy. Like, I don't know. I was like, something's off. Like, I just would hear stories, but he was definitely like a lone wolf, kind of like just like
legend.
Oh yeah,
He was, dude. Yeah,
and JD and John, like I fucking love John. You know what I mean? And Mr. Deary. And like, I just never knew Brian, like that. But like, he was on the wrestling team and he was badass. And I was just like, I don't know. It was just like he wasn't very approachable.
That's the fucking truth.
I was like, okay, this guy, I want to say like, yeah, what's up? But I don't want him to headbutt me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a tough son of a bitch. Him and Tom, you remember Nick Billick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billick was cool.
Yeah. Billick's cool too. Yeah. That's Justin's stepbrother. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Justin, Nick's cool. Nick wrestled too.
Yeah.
Nick and Deary, Nick and Brian were like best friends, and those two idiots.
Yeah, right. So those two were.
You do this game where they put their forearms together and then put a lit cigarette in between them, and then whoever moved their arm first was a pussy. And they would just sit there and like stare at each other, and like, you know, one of them would finally move, but like the cigarette just burns down your forearm.
Dude,
sounds reasonable.
I remember Brian Deary introduced me to the slap game. Remember playing the slap game? The fucking slap game? Biggest fucking mistake I ever fucking made. Dude, he chipped one of my teeth doing that fucking game. We're in the garage, and Deary's dad had, like, they'd set up the garage where like the top part was a wrestling mat, and we would like, we could train there and stuff too, but we also like would party there and hang out and sleepovers and whatever, right? And Brian, I remember there, and John had told us about the slap game where the way John described it is that he was like, dude, we're fucking cracking up laughing like every slap. It was so funny. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. Brian comes in, we play a slap game. I was like, okay, we start soft, right? And he's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. And he's just like, whack. And I'm like, God damn it. Whoa. What is this here? Is this the slap game or the punch game? What's going on? And it turned out, slap game didn't last long. They have right now.
He won. He won.
Christ. Oh yeah, dude. Like your mouth's bleeding everywhere. John didn't mention any of that when he talked about it.
Of course, he thought it was funny. He knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, John thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, this is great.
We would box in his garage too all the time. Go ahead, Justin.
Speaking of Mr. Deary, do you remember what's Mr. Deary's favorite exercise?
Push-ups. I remember you said jumping jacks one time. Matt, you said, no, what's my other favorite exercise?
It was what's my favorite exercise? Push-ups. What's my second favorite exercise? Push-ups.
Mr. Deary is the man. I remember it was like a joke because I knew he was gonna say push-up. Like he would do like our conditioning at wrestling sometimes, and he'd be like, what's my favorite exercise, Matt? And they'd be like, jumping jacks? Oh, guys, come on, let's go. And he's like, wrong.
Laying down, yoga.
Cuddling.
Yeah. No, Mr. Deary, he used to do this. Do you remember the song, Tom? And it was like, yellow bird with a yellow bill was perched upon my windowsill. I coaxed him in with a piece of bread, and then I smashed his little head. we would be running, right, doing like conditioning for wrestling, and he'd be making us sing that song. And we're like, smashing little birds, this is great.
Yeah. And then I learned the word coaxed. I was like, coaxed.
Yeah.
What's this word you're talking about? Coke?
Gave him a Coke? Is that how we got him in?
I was like, how did he coke him in? Like, what, you lured him in with some Coca-Cola? I get that. I would go, sure.
Who doesn't like Coke?
Yeah.
Coaxed. Koaxed, I believe. Coaxed.
Yeah, who knows? So either way, let's
you lure them in. Lured them in.
Lord of the Rings them in. So either way, you're at the tech school, right? You just found out what alcohol is from Brian, and at the same time, all three, me, you, and Tom, we're all working at Casa d'Amici, right? What had happened was my mom was a waitress there, right? Then she'd got me a job there as a busser, right? And then I got Al and Jay a job there as dishwashers, and with our good friend Dishwashers.
Dishwashers.
And we met a good friend of ours, fan of the show, listener of the show, the Golden Jew, Scotty Feingold.
Yeah.
Shout out Scotty Feingold. But yeah, and like Anthony worked there, and his mom, Mrs. Byers, and like
they worked at Luigi's.
His mom worked there for a little bit.
She worked there too for a little bit, yeah.
And Anthony was a dishwasher at Casa for a little bit too.
So we would be bussing tables, and Matt would go to go bus a table, and my mom was waitressing there, and she's like, Matt, don't just like go up and grab the plates off, like, because you pre-bus. And she's like, will you just say something like, excuse me, pardon me while I get the, are you finished with that? Like, say something, don't just like go grab it. He's like, oh, okay. And so then he goes up to the next table and he goes, it would be my honor to take this plate. It would be my honor.
That's awesome. That's great, dude.
It would be my honor to take this plate from you. All right, dude. You know, some more oil, that'd be great. Or,
I'm on it.
That's
Yeah, you
awesome.
got some more bread. Casa was all right. I remember mom used to like put on a show for her tables, and she would say like, you really got to try this dish. It's called rotolo de mare. You would love it. It's my son's favorite. And she'd be like, hey, Matt, what's your favorite dish? And like, I would leave her hanging. I'd be like, oh, the calamari, right? And she's like, no, you fucking idiot. We rehearsed this. It's rotolo
we
de mare.
rehearsed this.
We
Yeah.
rehearsed, you fucking
You forgot
moron.
your lines again.
Yeah. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, that's good too, guys. Go ahead and get it. No, but
It's all good.
The food there was great. We really kind of got Bach would learn a valuable lesson there, and it would be how to make the tortellini and cream sauce from Chef Kev. And he would use that. He would use that on every girl he had ever dated when he would make dinner for them for the first time. Is that right, Bach?
That's a staple.
Yeah.
Staple.
Yeah. Solid move. So
you gave him the old tortellini and cream, huh?
That's
Bach?
right.
The old creamy tortellini.
Pipe and making tortellini.
Yeah.
So nice. So all right. So we would work at Casa. We'd work there for a couple of years. Me, you, Jay, Tom, like everybody. Alex worked there for a little bit. Everyone would go through that place. And then also at the same time, your dad owned his own landscaping business, right? So
he was mostly just cutting grass, but I mean, basically you cut grass.
Yeah. And you would work for him too. I would work for him a couple times as well when you were out of town. And let me tell you, oy stinking vey. Was that fun, Bach? How'd you like working for your dad in the summer?
It was pretty great, you know.
Oh my God.
Especially when you wanted to go do stuff and he's like, Matt, well, you're working with me today.
Yeah. Dude, I remember you would wake me up a lot of the time because I would it would be in the summer and like we would be partying the night before or whatever. And then you would have to wake up early and mow and do all that stuff. And I would still be asleep and you'd come home or you'd come just wake me up and be like, all right, let's go. And I'd be like, all right, where's the stuff at? Let's party. You know what I mean? And we would just get right after it. Yeah. It was
well, you brought home a bottle from like when you were working at Vinny T's and it was like a handle of like Vladdy's or something.
Uncle Vladdy's. Yeah.
And we killed that whole thing, dude. And I had to get up at like 6 a.m. Remember he came over and like woke me up?
Yeah.
Dude, that was the worst day of my life.
I remember that.
I was like literally dying. I didn't like hardly. I had like a Gatorade to drink. I was like sleeping in the truck after I would like finish real quick, cutting just so I could like recover. It was brutal. Like dude, 4 or 5 hours of that was it was terrible.
Yeah, we had done that. That's brutal.
We were drinking that and like lemonade or something. We like mixed it in.
I'd stolen the Vladdies. We had had a scavenger hunt where we polished off maybe like a third of it. And after that, like we had like a bunch of people over partying. And then I bought a gallon of water and a thing of Country Time lemonade mix. I'd pour out half the gallon, fill the rest with vodka and dump a ton of lemonade mix in there, shake it up, and we would just go to town on it. So not only are we drinking a ton of vodka, it was a ton of sugar as well. Yeah. And then we weren't sleeping. And we were just like, up doing whatever. And like, you had, I mean, dude, I felt bad for you that you had to work after that because that was fucking brutal. I remember too, we would do Car Bomb Mondays. Remember Car Bomb Mondays? Yeah. Oh my God.
That was down on Markle Street, right?
We did that Markle Street. We did it at my mom's house for a little bit too before I moved to Markle.
That's true.
But that was like a fucking mistake.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Doing that. But yeah. So nice. All right. So let's keep it moving. So we would graduate and all that stuff. You're still mowing lawns, but after we graduate, you're still like looking to get your first apprenticeship and you would start working at a food distributor, right?
Yeah.
So what was going down?
So it was like Durstein's in Sellersville and my dad would like load trucks and stuff at night. So like he got me a job just so I had like something to do outside of high school, while I was like looking to get into like an apprenticeship. So we would go there and load trucks from like 9 a.m. till like 4 or something. Like it was kind of part time. So that's kind of how I started out working. Yeah, like it was. Didn't
you do the graveyard there too a little bit?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like we would go in at 9 at night.
Oh, 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Oh my God. Yeesh, McGee.
How old were you?
19.
What was I, like 19? 18? 18? 19.
Just graduated high school.
Yeah, just right fresh out.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to talk about this. So, part of the Votech school, right? After you graduated high school,
how much were you getting paid at that 9 to 4 a.m.?
I don't know, like $10 an hour, like something like
hour?
that. Yeah, maybe less, like 9. Like it
I
wasn't
used to
a
get,
lot.
I worked third shift at Wawa, 11 to 7 a.m., $7.50 an hour.
Wow.
$7.50.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
But you weren't getting paid much, and so what? You were just like, were you using like forklifts and stuff? Or
I didn't even do any of that. They would bring it all like to the truck and have it numbered for like what stop it was. So like my deal was to like either take it off the pallets or put the pallets in there and like stack stuff. So like the heavy stuff was on the bottom.
By
and it
hand?
would be like, by hand. So
you
like,
had the worst job too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to warm the trucks up when it was cold, back them up myself.
Oof.
But I mean, it was all right for like a first job. Like I remember, because we had the radio on, like if it was like Monday Night Football, you know, like
you don't have to deal with customers, really.
Yeah.
I remember
it was
too.
Great though. Like the one supervisor, like he was kind of like a noodle. So like my dad would call him Spanky because he said he was like a smacked ass. so they would like get like kind of graded on like these picks. So if like they got something wrong, they get like a check mark next to like the item, and it would like go up as like an error, like you missed it. And I think he got like penalized after a certain amount. So this other guy, we called him Eraser Man, because he would go and like if he got a pick wrong, he would just erase it. So like he didn't have it on there. And they would kind of get on him a lot. So like they would get on that guy Spanky. But I mean, he was all right. He was just doing his job. But
yeah. I mean, when
you know how my dad is. Like he would get pissed off some nights and he'd be like, I'm out of here, and just like leave.
He doesn't do well with authority either. He's like, Dad, am I getting a ride home? I guess I'm walking, yeah. But no,
he's like, come on, we're out of here. And I was like, all right, see you later.
I remember too.
He just left.
Yeah.
I remember also you had a guy, because I remember like working at his job, you would get introduced to like a bunch of different eras of music as well, like at that age. And then there was also a guy there that you would tell me about that would change the words to each song to make them like lewd or crude. And I remember
my dad did that too.
I remember the one you told me was, instead of Born in the USA, right? Instead of Born in the USA, the guy would sing. He would sing. He would be like, born to eat pussy.
Born to eat pussy.
Oh yeah, dude, it was awesome.
Eat pussy. I like it.
Yeah,
got something.
It's got a ring to it, you know.
You remember any other ones, Bach? Didn't you have another one too? God.
I forget.
To eat pussy. Yeah. Jdub, you were a third shift graveyard guy.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I mean, so my one manager, we would always smoke marijuana on break, but he also liked to smoke wet.
Ooh.
So
it's interesting.
He would always at like 3 a.m. smoke by. He would smoke with everyone at like first break, and then at 3 a.m. he would go by himself. And he was like the packaging manager, and I was the warehouse. So I would always go outside, and if he had just pot, I'd be like, yo, and we'd smoke it together. But sometimes if he had wet, he'd be like, nah, you don't want this. You know, that was always what he would say.
Yeah.
And the one time he's like, you don't want this. I was like, you know what? I do want to try it. And I'll tell you what, that's insane. He was doing it all the time. And I was like, damn, that's crazy.
That's bizarre.
That can't be good for you.
Because the only people I've ever heard about smoking wet have done it by accident. You know what I mean? Like I never knew someone that like smoked it on the reg.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I didn't know it was next thing you know, I'm smoking and I'm like, this tastes funny. And I start like, you know, whatever.
Didn't
that happen to you too? One of the
do you hallucinate on it?
I took like 3 pulls of a blunt and I was like, all right. And I just remember like kind of floating down the steps back into the warehouse. And then I just did my job, I think, really well for like 3 hours. And then the shift was over. And I was just like, I don't know if I just did everything perfect or if I just did my whole job, but I feel like I was cruising.
What were you able to fall asleep afterwards?
No, I remember being like up for a while, like weird up. I just felt weird.
Yeah.
Cool. I couldn't imagine smoking like a whole blunt of it.
That's the worst.
But
Didn't you have
now,
Matt? If you're talking about a great show idea,
yeah. Let's
all
all
just
smoke
smoke
wet.
wet.
Get a wet show.
Yeah.
Wet show.
Okay, wiggle.
Dude, what?
We could do a PCP roulette where we'll have 5 joints and one of them will be wiggles.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll just get a wheel of hard drugs and we'll roll it. And whatever it lands on, you've got to do. I mean, heroin it is.
Dude, that would be, I mean, talk about content. That would be fucking killer.
Yeah. Wow, you're smoking crack, dude. Good luck.
Yeah.
Don't get hooked.
Yeah. Man, that would be, dude, could you imagine? Like, I mean, honestly, if you could do, like, say if there was 5 hard drugs, like meth, crack, heroin, I guess wet. And coke, right? We'll say. Well, I guess we could. I said,
dude,
meth.
people would be trying to get people would want the coke and the meth. They would be like, "Thank God."
Yeah. I was like, all right, that stuff I can at least, I'm not
when
doing
that's
crack.
like your lesser option.
My heart would explode if I smoked crack.
Oh, dude, but like, could you imagine a movie where like it's like a reality movie? You know what I mean, like a doc where 5 people go in, they spin it. Lands on it, you have to do it, and then each person has a camera follow them afterwards to see like what's going on. That'd be a pretty fucking good movie. All right, well, I just thought
it'd be hard to follow, but
I mean, it might be awesome if you could follow them for like a year afterwards.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll have
you're like, well, this guy's a heroin addict now, and this guy is gone over to Jesus, and this
we'll have the wheel of hard drugs, and everyone will have to do that. And then we'll go into our multiple war battles. Revolutionary War time.
Oh, you should do it. We should do it all like you should have like mushrooms, acid, right? And then do it like that. But all right, enough of that. So either way, Bach, I did want to talk about this. So after you graduated high school, as part of the tech program, you got to go build homes for humanity. Right?
Oh yeah, Habitat for Humanity. Yeah.
Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
And where did you go, and how was it?
We went to Costa Rica for 3 weeks, and it was an eye-opening experience because I had never been outside the country. And going down there, they're not like super third world, but like there's like shacks down there and kind of stuff. Like people don't have like indoor plumbing and stuff. So it was like real eye opener. Like,
oh shit.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was awesome, man. Like, it was like beautiful down there. Like, it was cool.
Where'd you sleep?
We slept in like a kind of like a bed and breakfast, I think, for like when we were in the city for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then we actually stayed like up in the jungle in like one spot, which was really weird because we were out in the middle of nowhere. And like if you were murdered out there, like it was over. Like no one was finding your body.
Yeah.
So like
back before like smartphones too, right?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it was crazy. And then we ended up like the last week or like 4 days we were there, we kind of we got like an actual like resort like hotel room.
Oh,
like down where like it was like like the resort beaches and stuff, and that was really cool.
Nice. Dude, that's awesome, man. And you had a good time. And
oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we built a house for somebody. Like it was great. Like
Ali.
Yeah.
You don't want to tell that story?
No, I don't think my wife would appreciate that. She's like, tell Matt no crude stories on there. I was like, hey man, I can't help where the conversation goes.
Oh, yeah, it's not our fault. So that war talk will get you anywhere. So then, so you graduated high school, you did Dursteins, everything like that. Then after that, you started like an apprenticeship as an electrician, right?
Yeah, it was a smaller company, just like open shop, non-union company.
Non-union, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, they had like an apprenticeship program. So
how does that work? Do you go in and are you kind of like an intern? Like what's the deal? Like you're just learning on the job from the older guys? Like is that really what it is?
Yeah, like you're learning from the older guys, and then like for like the school portion, you go to school at night for like 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like twice a
so you're still like going to school while working on a job, and does the job pay for you to go to school, or do you have to pay?
Yeah, they pay for that.
Oh, nice. Dude, I remember you would show me these videos of like pranks on a construction site where they would take like the apprenticeship guys and like maybe an older guy, like a foreman or whatever, would tell them to do something that has nothing to do with the job. Like one of them, this guy had to sledgehammer the ground, right, in like a circle, and there's an older guy standing there with like a block, like it looks like it's a meter of something, and he's like, you got to keep going harder, it's not reading, we got to get the reading here, come on, keep going. And this guy legit goes for like 3 minutes just slamming this young kid.
Yeah, like they put like dots around this circle, and like they had like a copper wire going like under the stone, so it was like a ground ring kind of thing. He's like, yeah, we need these readings, like it's on YouTube. Yeah, and this kid is just hammering like around the circle. Like, you gotta go faster, if you stop we gotta restart the test.
Yeah,
so like they stopped the one time because he's like, yeah, catch your breath, I know it's not easy. And the kid's like dying, dude. I was like, yeah, this is horrible.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit. But that's kind of like great when you have like it's older guys at a site. Like that's the kind of fun shit. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome.
It's a brick mason, and there's like 6 bricks in a row, and the older guy is taking the back brick and handed it to the guy, and then he's slapping the stuff on, putting it down, and then the old head's just taking the back bricks. He's getting nowhere. He's just handing him basically the same brick like back over and over again. It's not going anywhere.
That's hilarious. I mean, like you got to do that shit on those kind of jobs, just like mess around. But dude, I'll tell you, that's one thing. Like I kind of wish I did more of like working with my hands and stuff like that, because I can do it. I just like I don't know a lot, right? Like, but I have the ability to do it. But
need a guide.
I need a guide. But like I think like you can legit fucking build a house. You know what I mean? Like you can do it. You've done it all. So I feel
I
like
can wire a house, but I don't know about the carpentry stuff. But
like how it goes. Like like you've seen it done. Like you could be like I look at a house and I just see a house. You look at a house and you see like, okay, they use this kind of frame, and that's the kind of wiring, and look at those kind of that's gonna go, and then why'd they do like like why and how it's structured. I just look at it and be like, hey, look at that place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. That's something I wish I had. But so you do the apprenticeship. How long were you an apprentice for?
I did like 2 years of there, and then like I had a chance to get in the union, so I took it, and then that was 5 years of night school, because I just was like, I'm just going to start over and just go through the whole thing.
Yeah. Like the union, like they're kind of like that's kind of what they want you to do. Like they want you to go through like their program, or
yeah, like you could test out like to whatever year, I guess. But I was like, I'm only like 22. I was like, I might as well just do the whole thing. Like,
yeah, why the hell not? Yeah. So to be able to be like a full electrician by the time you're 27, dude, that's awesome. Yeah. So and you're in a union, because isn't that like the big thing? Like when you do like one of these jobs, you want to get in the union.
Well, yeah, I mean, you get higher wages, you get benefits, and
protection.
You don't really need like a resume or anything. Like you get hired out of the hiring hall, so like you don't have to go find work. Like you don't have to call up like contractors and like get an interview or nothing. Like you just get called off the list. Hey, you're going here like Monday. Yeah. Like here's your job referral. Like
and like
it is nice.
What would anyone what if you're at a job site and they refuse to pay? Does like the union hire lawyers or whatever? Like what?
Like unions got lawyers and stuff. I mean, usually that stuff gets handled pretty easily, but I mean,
how easily? If they don't pay, do they take them around the corner and say like, "Hey, I got a union rep that needs to talk to you"?
Well, I mean, they can put them on charges and stuff, and like get them fined and all that stuff. So,
do you ever when you go to a job site, right? Like, how do you know like you go there and is there like is there like a foreman that runs the whole site, or is just an electrician foreman? Like, how's it go?
Well, there's like a project management company that's in charge of like all the basically the trades.
Okay.
And they kind of, do whatever the customer is like wants you to do there. Uh-huh. But like for me, it's like I have like, if it's like a bigger job, there's like a general foreman. If there's like multiple floors, they'll have like a floor foreman.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a hierarchy like that.
It's almost like military then, right? Where it's
a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of, but I mean, somebody's in charge of like, trying to get the project like planned. Like, I mean, there's a project manager above the foreman, but like they're not.
And they just make sure
like there all the time.
Yeah. And they're just kind of making sure like everything's going according to plan. Like they've planned it out where it's like, look, if we have 10 electricians that do this in this time working, if everything works out correctly, then they can be done by this date. And they're just kind of like making sure everything's just going along smoothly and making sure you have the supplies and things you need to get the job done. And then you guys are out there and like you have like a foreman that's like, all right, I need you to do this today. I need you to do this today. I need you to do this today. Right.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like you just got a project to do like the whole job. Like here, you're doing fire alarm. Like if you know, if you have any questions or like whatever, just like come to me. And that I mean, they're really there to get you answers on stuff. Like you're doing like the install.
Yeah.
For the most part, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So wait, so like, let's say for instance, like the Wegmans job you did, when you went there, how did that go? Like you first day you walk in, what do they tell you?
Well, you got to go through like a safety kind of thing. And like, usually that's done by like the project management company. And then maybe your company has a safety like program that, they got to like, take you through like steps for like that and like emergency stuff if there's like a fire, like where you guys are mustering all that stuff, like just so you're accounted for if something happens and you got to evacuate, that kind of stuff. Like,
so every first day on the job they do like a safety emergency like protocol of like, look, this is where it happens, this is what's going down, this is what we're like. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of legal paperwork and stuff. You got to fill out tons of stuff like.
Oh, really? Like all the affidavits and all that.
Yeah, like do like your W-2 and stuff, all that stuff. Like that's like first day. Like you really don't even get to work till like maybe after break time, maybe like 9:30, 10 o'clock sometimes, because you're just watching videos, filling out paperwork. Like, you know, it's cover your ass kind of stuff. So like nobody gets sued.
Yeah. Some job sites will make you get another physical or take a drug test.
Well, you got to, you definitely got to take drug tests. Like a lot of them are like drug tests because. Like where my local is, we have a lot of pharmaceuticals obviously in our area. So like, you definitely, when you go out there, you got to get a drug test, like all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you know, there, if you're handling like, you know, machinery and dangerous tools and stuff like that, you got to be, you can't be whacking, you can't be smoking wiggle on your break. You know,
Alan, what's the most fucked up you've ever been handling?
Yeah, we've had a few run-ins at places, but
oh man,
part of the job.
Did you ever have a guy show up wasted to like your job?
Dude, and like it's like, yo, dude, you better like go sit down somewhere or just like go home.
Oh,
like really? Don't get on a ladder, like like
drunk, like wasted.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah. There's guys that have come in just like straight up failed like the drug test, just like I don't know if they thought they would pass or whatever, but like they were like clearly like
didn't have enough time to study.
So
damn, dude. If you were to fail a drug test, would you be kicked out of the local?
No, I think they send you to like they got to give you counseling.
All right.
Like if you're indentured, like it's really hard to get thrown out.
Nice. Good.
But once you're a sworn in brother, like it's hard. Like they have to do a lot for you to like kick you out, unless it's like I guess something like real criminal or something like that. But
or do you like that's something that I know? Like I remember when you got into the union, that's something like you were very like happy, but also proud. Like you know, like you rep being in the union, and you're proud to be a part of the union, right? Is that kind of like how it goes? Like you?
Yeah, it's a brotherhood. I mean, it is to an extent.
Yeah. We met a couple guys from the union at your bachelor party. Damien, right? And Chops.
Yeah.
Oh man, Chops is a fucking character. That guy.
He's been like my partner a lot. Like we've like traveled to like other locals together and stuff when like work was bad here.
Oh really?
So like so me and him have worked hand by hand like for like years. We're not working together now, but like we've always kind of been paired up and like. Yeah, it's been good.
Hockey and Chops.
How good is he as an electrician? Is he good?
He's good. Yeah, dude. He's real good. He's mechanical, like real mechanically sound.
Yeah, you couldn't tell by looking at him, but
of course you'd be proud to get it. I mean, you said what is a 5-year apprenticeship?
Oh, yeah, I think
so,
now.
I mean, you're basically graduating college. You know, it's the same.
Yeah. True. It's all like night. It was like night for like 3 hours twice. You know, some Saturdays we'd have to come in.
Oh,
but now like I think it's only like a 2.5 year like actual school course because like now they're all on computers. And like I think they're doing like virtual stuff with like COVID and all that, but we had to get our own books. Like,
oh baby,
it's like
They
you had to
got
pay for
it
your
so
books.
easy now.
those pansies don't even have to go to books.
Go online.
Yeah, all you gotta do is click and scroll. Those pansies. In my day, we had paperbacks. Nice. So nice. All right. So then you go from an apprenticeship. Now you're a full electrician, right? So you would go to, all right, first day, emergency protocol, safety stuff. Second day you go in, foreman's like, hey, this whole place needs fire alarms. That's you. So, during the course of this job, your responsibility is to just put the fire, like you got to find the best locations for them, right? You have to get all the materials lined up. You have to like put it in initially, then you have to cover everything. Then you have to like do all that, right? Like, how does that go?
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, you have drawings and that stuff. And for like the first part of the job, it's like all basically wiring or like running like raceways, like pipe to like put the fire alarm in. Yeah. And like, all the locations are spec'd out on the drawing, and you kind of just like put boxes in where they need to go, stuff like that. And then as the job progresses, like they'll order like the smoke heads and like, the pull stations and stuff like that. And then you'll like install them at a certain point, and then like people come in and test it. Oh, so like you have to troubleshoot at points and
just make sure.
I mean, and it depends on how big the building is. Like, we did like a hospital near us, and like I was like 5 floors, and I did a lot of the fire alarm there, and I was still like a 5th-year apprentice at the time. So
oh wow. Yeah. Dude, I remember you would tell me you would work in Camden at the the courthouse,
City Hall. Oh yeah,
City Hall. Yeah. What? And you were like,
it was.
How awful was that?
Dude, it was like a war zone down there, dude. Like,
oh shit.
And I was going in at like 6:30, so like I'd have to find parking, and you would just be walking by people just like strung out, like sleeping, really? Like oh yeah, dude. Like it was
just like dipped out right there.
Well, the thing is, like there was like a methadone clinic across the street, so like we would like watch out like the windows up there, and like people are just like dipping out, like. It was crazy. It was something else.
Damn. What? But then on the other side of that, you've also worked at like high-end pharmaceutical companies. And do you have like a specialty when you go to a shop, like when you go to a site, you're like, hey, I'm really good at this. If you want to,
I mean, kind of like,
really good at laying.
It can work that way, but I mean, usually it's kind of like up to like who wants to like give you what, or like, the foreman will talk to you about stuff like, and especially if people know you and like know what you're good at, like,
but if you've worked with them before, they'll be like, oh, this guy did great at this.
Well, not even that, like you get like a name for yourself, like through the local, like I know a lot of the guys in the local now, like I've been in for a long time. So like, people know you, people know you're a good worker, whatever.
So, nice.
You get kind of like a rep.
Didn't you work at the power plant also?
Yeah. I've worked at.
That's cool.
Yeah, that power plant. That's a different animal, man.
Yeah.
I remember
that's crazy. Like
real quick, before we get too far, does any fire alarm actually have like an ink or something that shows the person who actually pulled it? Remember there used to be a rumor in elementary school?
No, they don't have that stuff.
No way to like detect who actually.
There's no ink.
There's no ink.
Rumor like some of the newer ones.
I always wanted to pull a fire alarm.
Yeah.
No. I mean those are addressable though, so they'll know like what one like went off.
Which one, but like it doesn't.
But they won't. But there's no way
they won't know who did it. Though, like I mean, you'd have to have a camera there.
That
would be like a camera or something.
Yeah, they just
that's definitely not
idiots
true.
Wouldn't pull it.
Yeah, that's basically why.
Nice, dude. I remember Bach. I remember you said that if there was ever a zombie apocalypse or anything like that, the first place you're going is the power plant.
Oh yeah, dude. Like it's almost like a military base.
Really?
Like, yeah, there's armed guards there. There's razor wire. There's like electrified fences and stuff at points. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a real deal.
Like armed with like what? With like just like
with military like assault rifles.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a national like
nuclear? I believe it is.
Yeah, that's where you would be, right?
Yeah.
Limerick.
Yeah, like places like that. Yeah. Yeah, like there's barricades there. Like you're not getting a vehicle in. Like
oh wow.
Like it's the real deal there, man. They don't mess around.
Damn. Good
You
on
don't
'em.
want someone coming over and taking over the freaking power plant.
Yeah,
That's
That's
trouble.
That's
then.
where we
Yeah,
get
dude.
all our superpowers from.
That's right.
Nice. So we're coming to the top of time here. Before we get out of here, one last question, Bach. I'd just like to ask, out of every day you've worked and every job you've had on everything you do you remember what's your favorite day of work your whole life?
Yeah, I got one time when I was a first year apprentice, we were like going in on a holiday to like just I think we just went into like maybe the foreman had to do one little task and I was just like cleaning stuff up.
Yeah.
But I think we started at like 7 and we were out by 9 and we got like paid for like the whole day and it was like time and a half.
Oh,
That was pretty cool.
That's great. That's a great day. Nice. So, man, yeah, you got paid time and a half and you didn't even have to work. That sounds like a good damn day to me, baby.
Can't beat
Yeah,
that.
I think I swept up a couple things. Like that was it. Like it was great.
Nice.
You well, like in all the buildings you ever worked at, Bach, did you ever get anything like any rodents or anything like that in there when you're like going through? Or
Oh yeah, dude. I don't know if I should tell you guys this, but at one of our largest malls around here, like by that food court in the back hallway, you do not want to go in there.
Oh,
what
Like,
happened?
lifting,
Wait,
like
tell me
ceiling
what
tiles,
happened.
like there's like mice running around, like there's like mice shit all over the place.
Oh,
yeah, dude. Like I
wow.
was like, I don't think I'm ever eating in this food court again. Like
When was this?
this was a few years ago, like before I think they did the whole expansion. So it was a little while ago. But I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
dude,
you,
this is
you
like,
got a job there. You went in, and what did you see?
like just there's like mouse shit everywhere.
And
Like
you saw mice running around.
Yeah,
amok.
yeah.
Oh yeah, five.
Like even
all
out
his
in, like the
buddies.
open mall, like you were sitting there like eating break and like you'd see like a mouse scurry like around. So like
Ooh.
yeah, they're
Five on
definitely
all the
in there.
Mouskowitz. Man, yeesh, that's gross. Yikes. All right, well, cool. Well, shout out mice, fan of the show, listeners.
Yeah.
Stay away from the food court.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah. So nice. So we're coming to the top of time, man. Bach, dude, the first time you were on here, we laid an egg as producers, and we weren't able to get that episode off the air. First ever recording was Bach, FYI. So happy we could get you back on the show. I love you, pal. Thanks for coming on. Before we get out of here, anything you want to say to your adoring fan base before we take off?
Well, just keep listening, man. It's good stuff.
Dude, appreciate that. Thank you. Tom, anything you want to say to the fans of the Working Perspectives podcast before we get out of here?
Yeah. If you never got a box of cereal as a Christmas gift, you ain't shit. All right. I was asking people. No one ever got a. Matt, remember we used to get cereal for Christmas? I loved it. I was like, wait a second, Jdub, Bach, did either of you guys get cereal for Christmas?
We would get the mini one.
Like rats?
We would get the
maybe a mini.
Oh,
Maybe a
stop.
mini. I've gotten a mini.
Yeah,
I think I've
we
gotten
get
a
the mini.
before.
I remember like Apple Jacks or Pops.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I've
They would
gotten
be
a mini before.
Remember the mini box that if you opened it up, it would make like you could cut it or like rip it open so the box was a bowl and you just had to pour milk into it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got it as a gift, but I would get hyped for Christmas Crunch berries. The
Oh,
Captain
Oh yeah.
red and green berries.
I still, the fantastic. I still say
That was a nice item.
Best cereal ever. Rice Krispie treat cereal. Best cereal ever.
Dang.
Best cereal ever.
Purple box.
Best
I
cereal.
don't know if it exists anymore.
Dude, I've tried to hunt it down. You can't find it. It's
Big cinnamon toast crunch guy.
Oh,
It's
CT
a-
Crunch. Classic.
I'm going Golden Grams.
Golden Graham's good. You know what's a
Golden
sleeper, like a sleeper non-sugary cereal? Crispix. Always loved
Yeah.
Crispix.
Dude,
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
Crispix.
Love
Crispix.
Crispix.
Kicks. Big kicks guy.
Kicks.
Kicks was
Berry
all right.
Kicks.
Oh, blueberry kicks changed the game. And then you got into dude, when they came out with Reese's Puffs. Woof.
Oh yeah, dude.
Woof.
Cinnamon Life is a great underrated cereal.
Dude,
Yeah.
true. Very true.
Big
It
on
is.
Life.
It's good enough for Mikey. It's good enough
That's
for
right,
Matty.
Mikey likes
Let me
it.
tell you. Yeah, Mikey.
Like
Frosted Flakes. I mean, Frosted
Oh,
Flakes. They're
dude.
great.
Raisin Bran Crunch.
Great.
Raisin Bran Crunch might be the most consistent. And
Dude, I even like a good Special K. What's your thoughts on Special K?
My mom used to get the special K, sometimes with the dried strawberries in it.
Oh,
it's all right. It's a little.
You know what though?
Airy.
I need to get like when I eat cereal. I mean, I'm using like a Tupperware container.
Oh,
I'm not using a bowl. Like I need like a big.
I got a ladle
bowl,
and I'm doing
a ladle, and I'm just like,
oh yeah,
I'll eat the whole box.
I could legit, I could legit do a whole box of like, you know, Reese's Puffs or, you know, Rice Krispie treats or dude, even some Honey Nut Cheerios. Throwing a fucking Honey Nut, babe.
Classics.
Classic.
Rice Krispies. Regular Rice Krispies.
A small box. You could crush Fruity Pebbles box in 4 bowls.
Oh,
Fruity
easy.
Pebbles.
They're not lasting. Yeah. Oh, dude.
But the Captain Crunch always
tears
top
it
of my
up.
mouth.
Oh, yeah. Rips you apart. Rips you to shreds.
You don't want it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, wait. Can you ask me again? What
so
I
yeah,
would
Tom.
like
Again, before we get out of here, anything you want to say to the fans of the Working Perspectives podcast before we take off?
I think it's fitting to say, in the Warriors code, there's no surrender. When your body says stop, your spirit cries never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So nice. Jalen.
I love you, Bach.
I love you too, Tom.
See you, buddy.
It was great.
Jalen Dub. Anything you want to say to the fans before we take off, baby?
Allen Bach's another one of those guys. Just a good guy. I know
Good
Allen
fucking
Bach.
guy.
I haven't seen Allen Bach in 15 years. Good guy.
Good fucking guy. Always happy when you see him. That's one of the good things about doing this show is like when you get to see, like I see Bach all the time, but even like, you know, like when we had Eric on last week or, you know, even like Liam, when we had Liam on, like just seeing guys you haven't seen in a while, like this is a good fucking dude. You know what I mean?
And you can
like,
pick up whatever me and Bach were last talking about. We could probably still finish that conveation.
Oh yeah, easily.
20 years later.
Yeah. Nice.
I was like, yeah, Barry Sanders is really good at football.
Yeah. Yeah. How about this Michael Vick guy? He seems like a really good guy. You know, real good humanitarian. So nice. Jdub, I know we're usually on board with this, and you know, I know it's your second time on Bach, but we would love to have you back on if you'd be willing to come back on the show.
You know it, buddy.
Dude, can't wait. We got to get speaking of round tables, we got to get a 4th Street round table sometime soon.
Dude.
Sometime in the near future. Or we could even just get like, you know, my mom's house round table and see
the Christmas party
oh
round
my
table.
God. Oof, man. We could do it. We should do a Markle Street round table too. Oh my baby.
Oh boy.
What would that look like? We'd have to get Logan.
Oh boy.
Where's Logan at?
Yeah.
Where's
Logan?
Logan? Logan, Smack a Queer, Pretty Rick. Pretty Rick's been on the show and he's booked to be on again. And he's booked to be on again on a round table, believe it or not. But yeah, so all right. Well, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by Justin Richardson, Tom Lavelle, and our guest is the man, the myth, the legend, Allen Bach. You can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please God, she hates me doing this, but if you like and subscribe, she might stop giving me so much shit about doing it. So please like and subscribe so my wife gets off my ass about doing the show. Thanks for listening. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See ya. Do you have a message or a story inside of you that you've been waiting to tell? Have you always dreamed of writing a book, but are intimidated by the complexities of the book publishing world? Perhaps you want to use a book to launch your public speaking or consulting career. If so, please reach out to Scott & Bell Publishing, located right here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Scott & Bell Publishing handle all genres and authors with all experience levels. Scott & Bell Publishing gives authors 100% creative freedom and a higher royalty split. They can be found at www.skotbell.com. That's www.s as in Sam, K as in Kite, O as in October, T as in Tom, B as in Boy, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, L as in Larry.com. That's Scott & Bell Publishing, where the authors go.